That's alright, Mama. That's alright with you. That's alright, Mama. And just any way you do. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright now, Mama. Any way you do. Come on, man. Can you feel the pain? Into him now. About this new world. Ain't no train. Papa's got a brand new eye. Purple haze in my brain. Lately things just don't seem the same. Acting funny and I don't know why. Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Running solo tonight. We are going to try to cover the debate. I'm trying to get it on right now. It looks like it is live and it's coming on, and they're doing pre-show right now, so I will have this on in just a second. Yep, I'm pumping this through right now. I'm going to give it a quick pause, and we are going to skip intros. Folks, we do have a goal tonight. We are just going to go right into our call sign, basically, and then be right back with the debate. You got to share this, please. We got to get it out. Staying home tonight so we can do this. I know people expected me to go and not be on tonight, but here we are. So do me a favor. Let's hit goal. I'll try not to interrupt the debate, and we can just watch it together. I might have a few things to say. We'll go from there. We'll be right back.
Get it a sec. Check out my buddy Matthew Spear over there at the Dumb Show. Dumbshow.com. Get to see people like yours truly right here. Maybe that's a reason for you to not check it out. But check it out anyway. There's a lot of people better than me on there that a lot better stories. But check them out. Dumbshow.com. Matt, take care, buddy. God bless you, everyone. When you get it.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
All right, everybody, we got a $300 goal tonight, and I can't constantly interrupt the debate, so I'm going to need some help with just keeping that going and keeping that flowing if we could tonight. Olivia's out with Hayden. She's over at her school choir, and talked to Hayden, and we agreed that this debate is super important tonight, and she let me off the hook so I could be with you guys tonight. Here we are. So let's get to this debate. It's probably the most important gubernatorial debate because California is already in the bag for Democrats, and that's not going to change. So this is a big one. And it's a big one specifically for my state in Virginia. And this pretty much will be a bellwether for 2026. Right now, the race is fairly close. And let's go ahead and get into it and get a little backstory. It should be a good one.
Against that, and so my opponent, she says she's going to get rid of it too, but she's going to have to ask her side of the aisle how to do that. So we had the money, we can do it. But really what I want to ask, this first question is, Abigail, when are you going to take Jay Jones and say to him, you must leave the race?
Yep.
He has said that he wants to murder his political opponent. And not only that, but his political opponent's children, 2
Ms. Earl Sears.
and 5 years old.
Ms. Earl Sears, we're going to get to that question in a moment. But
No.
first, we're talking
But
about
I'd
the
like
Answer
car
you
it.
to
tax.
answer the question.
Answer it.
We're talking about the car tax
Well,
right
that
now.
was still my time.
Yes, but I want to get an answer from you. How would
I
you come up
answer
with
the
just over
question.
$3 billion a year for the car tax? I'll give you 15 seconds to clarify.
Yes. So as I said, we have the money. We have run budget surpluses every year that we've been in office. Over $10 billion, $9 billion of which we've given back to the Virginia taxpayer. That's serious money, and the taxpayers want that. And when I am governor, I'm going to have a form that says, check here if you want to pay more in taxes. But my opponent needs
Okay,
to
your
answer
time's
about
up.
Jay Jones.
Your time's up, Ms. Earl Sears. Ms. Spanberger, you've said that you'd like to get rid of the car tax. Will you make a commitment here tonight that you will make that a priority? And where do you
She
intend
won't.
to find the money for local governments every year if that tax is eliminated? You have 60 seconds.
The car tax is the most hated tax in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And in fact, that has been the case for many, many years. My husband, Adam, who is here this evening, actually wrote a paper in high school about the hated car tax. And year after year, many people make promises about getting rid of the car tax, but without a plan to do it. Unfortunately, my opponent, when in the legislature, had the opportunity to lower the car tax by 10% and voted against it. Now,
Actually,
in the
that's
4
not-
years that she has been the lieutenant governor, she hasn't made the effort or
Melanie, happy birthday to your grandson.
to get rid of this tax. And
Your
in
side
fact,
said
I
no.
will
Ms. Earl
work with
Sears,
anyone.
please.
Oh, please.
to
God, this is going to be
Democrats,
freaking
Republicans,
liberals.
local and state officials
Let
to
'em go.
finally get rid of this most dreaded tax. In fact, it
Answer the
requires
question.
significant planning and cooperation. But I have a history of getting rid of hated taxes during my time in Congress.
But you
I
said you're gonna
repealed with
increase
Ms. Earl
bipartisan
Sears.
support a unfair
Oh, my Lord.
tax on firefighters, police, and public servants. I have gotten rid of a hated tax in the past by building a coalition, and I will do it
Ms. Earl-
again.
So, Ms. Spanberger, how would you come up with just over $3 billion
She doesn't know.
To fund that
Say
car
surplus.
tax for local governments?
It requires bringing people together, Democrats and Republicans, to put any and all possible paths forward on the table. You are correct that we need to ensure that the loss of the car tax doesn't mean loss of funding
But
to our
your
public
side has already
schools
said you're
and
gonna
to
keep the
our
car
first
Ms. Earl Sears, let her
responders.
clarify.
And so in working together, we will work to not only repeal this tax, which of course also requires a constitutional amendment, but ensure our
Ms.
communities are
Spanberger, your
funded.
time is up.
It doesn't require
We're
constitutional
going
No,
to
it
move
doesn't.
on to the next
Just
topic.
a decision.
Deanna?
Thanks, Tom. Our next question is about the temperature and tone of political speech. The first example has been shaping the race for governor and attorney general for the past week. You both will have a chance for rebuttal. Democratic Attorney General nominee Jay Jones admits he sent text messages.
So here comes
to
the
a
Jay Jones
colleague
question. This one's going to be big.
referencing
By the way, the
former
car
Republican
tax essentially is like $4.50 per $100 value. So if you have a $50,000 car, you times that by 457. That's important. Yes, it's important to Virginians, but this is huge. This is Jay Jones, and this is probably the
Gilbert
biggest
and the
issue
crew
right
with the
now.
two worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Colleague. Jay, please stop. Jones. LOL, okay. I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. Colleague. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Jones. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy.
Jay Jones has apologized and says he takes full responsibility
Good,
for
then
those
quit.
messages. Ms. Spanberger, you have called the comments disgusting and said you condemn violence.
Let her
The question
answer.
for you tonight is, were you aware of these messages before they were released publicly? And will you continue to endorse Jay Jones as the next Attorney General of Virginia? You have 60 seconds.
The comments that Jay Jones made are absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah,
I
abhorrent. Here we
denounced
go.
them when
Yeah.
I learned of them, and I will denounce them every
But you can't get a
opportunity
candidate
I get.
replaced, so
As
you'll
a
go
mother,
ahead and support
as
him.
a public servant, as a candidate for governor, I denounce them. And it is important that candidates always denounce violence on no matter which side of the aisle. Violence, violent rhetoric, we should always be focused and forceful in our denouncement.
Answer it, scumbag.
And importantly, my opponent, unfortunately, only denounces violence when her side is the target.
What?
I hope into the future, she will endeavor to denounce violent rhetoric and violence no matter who the victim. And tonight, Lieutenant Governor Earl Sears, I will say, you routinely refer to me as your enemy. You routinely refer to me as your enemy. I'm not your enemy.
You are the enemy.
You are not my enemy.
You are the enemy.
Political opponents. And tonight, voters are here to listen to the policy differences that we have. So as we
will you let them
we
just
must
go?
Continue to set a good example for all of our children.
They know that she'll eat
Thank
Spanberger
you, Ms.
alive.
Spanberger. I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia? And were you aware of these text messages before they released? You have 30 seconds.
Say fuel their rage, lady.
In fact, it appears that it was those who released the text messages and held them for years, so the public was unaware who had knowledge
Answer
of these
the question.
text messages for many
years. What did you do about
I
it?
learned of these text messages the day that they came out, and I denounced them as soon as I learned.
No. Will you endorse him?
And importantly, at this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld
Will you endorse him?
Presumably for political reasons. But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice.
God, I got to get out of this state.
Ms. Spanberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself,
not an answer.
you still continue to endorse Jay Jones.
Answer it.
15 seconds.
Answer it.
We are all running our individual races.
Oh, you coward!
Said that about her lieutenant governor.
Oh, you coward!
And it's up to every person to make their own decision.
Oh,
I am
screw
running my
you,
race
you
to
feckless.
serve Virginia, and that
I got another
is what
C word for her.
I intend to do.
You're
Thank
a loser.
You, Ms. Spanberger.
Hit her.
We
Sears.
just want to clarify, what you're saying is that as of now, you still endorse Jay Jones as Attorney General.
That's correct.
I'm saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual
So you endorse
decision.
him.
I am running for governor. I am accountable for the words that I say, for the acts that I take, for the policies
Just
that
say
I
you don't
have
endorse
put
him.
out.
This is going to be the
I am
soundbite.
responsible for
This
the
is going to be
policies I
played
put out
everywhere.
and the work I will endeavor to do tirelessly
You are
for the
responsible
people
as
of
governor.
No, Sears is doing
Thank you,
fine.
Ms. Spanberger. Ms. Earl Sears, before we get to rebuttals, because we will get to rebuttals, we have a question for you. While there is no equivalency, this next example does speak to the divided nature of our country. During the Charlie Kirk Memorial, President Trump said, quote, "I hate my opponent and I don't want the best for them." Is there a place for that kind of political speech? You have 60 seconds.
Well, I think as everybody knows, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian before I'm a Republican, and I'm required to forgive people. And it's hard sometimes when somebody has abused you, etc., but it's something you must do, because not to forgive is almost like, as someone said, you drink poison thinking that it's going to affect the other person.
Good.
And I want to live a decent life, and I don't want to not have peace in my life. And so as I've said before, I would not say that. So that's why I'm wondering why my opponent won't say, beyond its abhorrent and disgusting, why she won't say it is not okay and that he must leave the race, because Jay Jones advocated the murder, Abigail, the murder of a man.
Get her. Don't let her off the hook.
Former speaker.
Change every subject to
as
this.
his children, who were 2 and 5 years old. You have little girls.
Go get her.
What would it
Get
take
her.
him pulling the
Get her.
trigger? Is that what would do it?
Yes.
And then you would say
Get her.
he needs to get out of the race.
Hang her with
Abigail?
it. Yep.
You have nothing to say?
Look at her. She's frozen.
Abigail.
She doesn't know what to say.
What if he said it about your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
This is perfect. Okay,
Ms.
that's
Earl
good.
Sears.
She's toast. She's
I know
cooked.
you're saying that you would not personally say this, but do you think still that there is that place for that kind of rhetoric, the example that we gave, even coming from others?
She already said
You have
no.
30
She
seconds.
said she wouldn't do that.
So I'm responsible for my behavior and what I've said. I've just said I wouldn't say that. I would not speak that way. Look, I'm from a third world country. I was born in Jamaica. And when I was 10 years old, I saw that kind of political violence, which is why I'm asking my opponent to please ask him to get out of the race, have some political courage. What you have done is you are taking political calculations about your future as governor. Well, as governor, you have to make hard choices, and that means telling Jay Jones to leave the race. I have seen what it means.
Okay,
when
so
people
I got to give you guys some context here, and this is fantastic. I want you to look at Winsome Sears. She's in red, white, and blue. She's professional. She looks good. She looks healthy. She looks like she's 10 years younger. Spanberger's wearing tennis shoes and has no USA at all. None. She looks like Hillary Clinton.
There, we do have one more follow-up question
Yes,
for
ma'am.
you before we get
This
to
is a
rebuttals.
definite Nixon
One
and
more
Kennedy
question for you.
type
This
debate
is
as far
on
as
topic
looks
of
and
endorsements.
appearance.
President Trump
Spanberger
has
looks
endorsed
sick.
the Republican incumbent attorney general. Do you need Trump's endorsement to win the race in Virginia? You have 30 seconds.
So I will take all endorsements, including the president.
Good.
And I am working very hard for the people of Virginia.
Yes, you are.
I believe in lower taxes. The people want that. My opponent, unfortunately, she's already said she's going to raise taxes. She's going to raise energy rates.
Yes, she
well,
is.
she's already voted that way because, well, that's all she wants is solar and wind. Well, if you look outside, the sun isn't shining and the breeze isn't blowing. And then what, Abigail? What will you do? What will you do? You're
She's like a
smirking.
mother.
And you know that the people
and
of
she
the
looks like a young
Southwest
toddler.
have a lot of
And
energy
Winsome
issues.
shows
Earl
age
Sears,
and
we need to
poise
get to
and
rebuttals. So, Ms.
matriarchal
Spanberger, you have 30 seconds to respond.
grace.
I think
And Spanberger
in
looks like a
her
petulant
response
child.
To the question that you asked, my opponent proved my point, which is when violent rhetoric comes from her side of the aisle, she refuses to denounce it. The
She already did.
statement that you read from President Donald Trump was violent rhetoric that she refuses
Oh, it wasn't?
to denounce. And this is why
He
I
did
say
not advocate
you are
murder.
not
Ms. Earl Sears,
my
she
enemy.
has her 30
and
seconds.
I wish
She'll have
you would
yours.
stop
Murder.
using language like that. But I am also glad that she
Not to
began
forgive
speaking
is one
about
thing.
issues
Murder
of
is
affordability
something else,
because
Ms. Earl Sears,
as
the
we are
viewers won't
talking
be able
about
to hear.
issues of affordability, I am the only candidate on stage who's put forth a plan to actually lower costs for Virginians.
Ms. Earl Sears, now your turn for a rebuttal.
Yes.
You have 30 seconds.
So what Abigail has just said is a lie, that she's the only one who has affordability. Please go to SpanbergerLies.com and check that out. I don't understand why you just can't come forward and say he needs to go.
That's right. Just don't let her off of it. Oh, don't you dare do this, Virginia. Don't you dare muck the feed. Oh, you sons of guns. Oh, that's dirty pool. You want to know how many times I've crashed on Safari on a Mac in my entire life? 0. None.
And we cannot find 8. And yet we can find 2 in Virginia. When are you going to publicly say to Senators Kaine and Warner, go and do your job and keep federal workers working? That's the way you stop the shutdown, because right now they're having to work, and especially our military, without any pay. I'm a United States Marine veteran,
Well,
and
there you go.
it is definitely hard, especially in the enlisted ranks, to work without pay. You can do something about that. You're the one who's been talking about all that love. Well, show love,
Ms. Earl
keep
Sears.
them in their jobs.
Ms. Earl Sears, the question, though, that I'm looking for, the answer to is, would you ask the president, if you were governor, to use his power to work with Democrats to reopen the government? 15 seconds to clarify.
So the president has already said that he would do that. But, you know, before anything gets to the president, it's in the Senate right now. The House Republicans have voted, and it's in the Senate. And all we need for it to get to the president so the shutdown stops is 8 Senate Democrats. That's just it. 8
That's it.
Senate Democrats.
To approve
And we
the
cannot
funding
find
bill
any
they already approved in
because
March of
they're playing
2024.
Political football.
That's
as
right.
you have been, Abigail.
Yes,
all
get her.
this time.
Turn it back on her.
Love is a verb. It's a show me.
Get her.
It's a
Get her.
doing.
Get her. Get her.
Love is not a shutdown. When are you going to ask Senators Kaine and Warner to please keep federal workers working?
She's doing great. I'm
All right,
so
we're gonna
proud
go
of her.
to
I wish I
Ms.
could give her.
Spanberger
I wish I
next
could give her a giant
on this
hug.
one. Knowing the shutdown's impact on Virginia, if you were governor
Yeah,
now,
very much like
would
Ben
you
Carson.
urge the two
Very
Democratic senators to vote to reopen the government until a deal can be worked out with Republicans? You have 60 seconds.
Well, importantly, when I was in Congress, when I entered Congress, I entered during the longest government shutdown in history. And 2 weeks into my time in Congress, I went to the White House. I sat down in the Situation Room with a group of Democrats and Republicans and President Trump, urging him to come to the table, urging him to make a deal. That is how we started the path towards ending the government shutdown, with leadership from the president. The current lieutenant governor of
Ms. Earl
Virginia
Sears, let
has
Ms.
not
Spanberger finish.
stood up for Virginia workers,
and
because
Warner.
right now, at this moment, when Virginia's federal workforce and contractors and communities across the Commonwealth are suffering because of this government shutdown, it is only increasing the challenge that they are facing after months and months of the attacks from this White House under DOGE. The entirety of that time, my opponent has made light of federal workers losing their jobs, saying
I'd like a
it's
rebuttal,
not a
please.
big deal.
So just to
and that
clarify,
everyone loses their jobs.
Ms. Spanberger, time is up. But just to clarify, then, you would not urge the two Democratic senators to work with Republicans to reopen the government?
To clarify, I would encourage everyone, our Democratic senators, our Democratic House members, our Republican House members, to work
This is her
together
first time
and
doing that.
drive
Ms. Earl
an
Sears,
effort
please. Thank you. Continue.
to come back to the table. Everyone from Virginia, the most impacted state in a time of shutdown, as our communities are suffering after months of DOGE and attacks on our federal
Your time's up,
workforce.
Ms. Spanberger.
Everyone in Virginia should be coming together and urging the
Your
president
time's up,
to
Ms.
restart
Spanberger.
negotiations.
We are going to move on to the next topic, which is data centers, and my colleague
Am I
Deanna.
not going to get a rebuttal? She's attacked me. Am I not going to get a rebuttal?
I'll give you 15 seconds.
Thank you very much. So you've heard a lot of words from my opponent, and she's talked about DOGE. And, you know, I'm the one who started a men's prison ministry. Of course I care about people. It was one of the best things I did. We've created over 265,000 jobs. I know what it's like to lose a job. How could I make light of it? But my opponent has cut and spliced my words so that it will
Time
look
is up.
like I did not
Ms.
care.
Earl Sears, time is up. Next topic, data centers with my colleague Deanna.
Thanks, Tom. So data centers are expanding across Virginia, increasing power demand and expected to raise energy bills even more for all Virginians. Ms. Spanberger, what is your plan to make sure data centers have the power they need and Virginians don't get stuck with the bill? You have 60 seconds.
Absolutely. So data centers are coming to Virginia, and many localities want to welcome them. And it's important that they pay their fair share. And as governor, I will ensure that data centers pay their fair share. But we have a challenge looking towards the future as it relates to our energy generation here in the Commonwealth. We are the largest net importer
Do you hear her
of
smacking
energy
her lips?
in the country.
Can you hear how
And
her
that
voice is
requires
dry? 'Cause
real
she's
leadership
nervous.
in contending
That's
with what
because
is
you
an
support cutting
Ms. Earl
impending
Sears, you will have a chance.
an impending energy crisis. And unfortunately, as we see an impending energy crisis, my opponent has supported efforts from the Trump administration to take millions and millions of dollars of energy investments away from Virginia. This is all the while that energy costs continue to rise for Virginians. That is why in my affordability plan, I laid out plans to reduce the cost of energy here in the Commonwealth.
Ms. Spanberger, as a follow-up, you stated that data centers must pay their fair share. So what does that look like exactly to you? Are you committing that to Virginians not seeing more price hikes? You have 30 seconds.
Absolutely. So importantly, there is currently an SCC case moving forward. And so pending the results of that case as it moves forward, it may require action within the General Assembly to ensure that large utility users like data centers are paying their fair share for the energy that they consume. For anyone who wants to view the further plans that I have to reduce energy, it is at affordablevirginia.com.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger.
We
Ms.
need
Earl Sears,
energy.
What is your
I
idea
love
for
this woman.
offsetting the high cost
We got to
of
get her
data
on the
centers,
show, man.
energy demands, and preventing additional rate hikes for Virginians? You have 60 seconds.
So The Virginia Clean Economy Act, when it was passed, every single Democrat voted for that. Every single one. And by the way, my opponent, Abigail Spanberger, has supported it. Well, let me tell you what it did. Speaking of no energy, it took 11,000 megawatts of power immediately off the grid, Abigail, without anything to substitute for it. And all you want, again, is wind and solar. Well, you know, it's that little thing called the technology revolution that's still happening. And it's that little thing called the, industrial revolution that's still happening. Businesses need power. What are you going to do about that? Well, let me tell you what we are doing. We have started in the Southwest a micro reactor program to see how we can bring energy to the Southwest and make it a regional energy hub, as a matter of fact.
Ms. Earl Sears, you're out of time, but I do want to follow up there. So the question was, what is your plan for offsetting those high costs of data centers' energy demands? What is your plan for making sure Virginians don't get stuck with the bills? So 30 seconds.
So what we need is an all-of-the-above approach to energy. We need clean coal, we need oil, we need nuclear, we need natural gas, and we need, renewables. My opponent's only plan is solar and wind.
Right.
Well, what happens when the sun goes down? There is nothing.
Ms. Earl Sears, we do need to move on to the next question.
Of course you do.
Thank you, Deanna. We have a question tonight from a Norfolk State University.
So, folks, I have to do it. I'm sorry, but thedumbshow.com/donate. I'm not trying to guilt trip anybody, but I was going to go to my daughter's choir concert tonight. Decided to stay here, and everyone's been giving me a hard time for it. We got to keep doing our job. So if you don't mind helping out the show, we're not funded by big pharma or Israel or the DNC or the RNC. We are 100% funded by us. This is it. We own it, and it's owned by the viewers. If you have an opportunity, thedumbshow.com/donate. It doesn't matter whether it's $1, $5. We have 708 people on right now, 735 actually. If everyone gave $1, we would just absolutely crush it. So if you have a chance and you don't mind, you want to help us out a little bit, please do. Thanks so much. Here you go.
And a good education will do that. But when the education happens, they also need the jobs. And I don't know if you've been seeing, but we have created over 15,000 new business startups. Never existed until we came into office. New business, high-paying startups. And then we have created, as I've said before, over 265,000 jobs. And we have another 225,000 job openings right now.
Yeah, this keeps happening.
And, I was just with the Governor Youngkin, out in Charlottesville, where Afton Scientific announced 200 more jobs.
Just give her 10
much.
seconds after the bell.
What economic policies or initiatives?
All right, guys, let me get this stream going. I'm going to go to a different browser because I have a feeling this is going to continue. And I think it's the quality of the stream. My internet's too damn good. Let's see if I can get this thing up here on another browser. All right, there we go.
Want to ensure that when they graduate, they will stay
Quality
in
of
Virginia
picture
to
isn't
start
as
a
good, but we'll
business, to
take
start
it.
a
Folks, I'm
family,
going to put the
and to
QR
start
codes up
their
as well, if
career.
you don't mind,
The
if you can
challenges,
scan
though, that
those
she
and use your
mentioned
phone for
are
donations.
housing
Thank you.
and affordability issues. In fact, during the time that the Lieutenant Governor has been in office, the cost of buying a house has gone up 18%. The cost of renting a house has gone up 14%, with just 11% increase even just this last year, the third highest in the whole country. And my opponent so frequently talks about job creation. Virginia has had 7 months this year of rising unemployment. The challenges are real, and Virginians need someone who will put Virginia first.
Unemployment numbers are.
Okay, we had a very spirited debate thus far. Excuse me, Ms. Sears. We've had a very spirited debate thus far, and now we're going to shift gears, and my colleague Deanna will take it from here.
Yes, we want
Yeah,
to
somebody
see
else
where
is running her
maybe
X
there's
account, of
some
course.
shared
Yes.
common ground. Ms. Spanberger,
100%
what
true.
quality or qualities of your opponent do you admire? You have 30 seconds.
I admire her faith that she puts into action through her time at the prison ministry that she frequently talks about, and I admire her service to our country. particularly as someone who chose to be an American and chose to serve. I think those are
Thank you for the
admirable traits,
super
and
chat.
frankly,
Happy,
what
appreciate
makes
you.
our
$1
country and our Commonwealth
means a lot.
special
Thank you
place,
so
that
much.
People the world over come to our country to become Americans, to serve in the military and in elected office.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. Well, Ms. Earl Sears, with that, what quality or qualities of your opponent do you admire? You have 30 seconds.
Yes, from what I've seen, I believe that she is a devoted mom. I truly believe that. And that she is a daughter who loves her parents very much. And I do believe that she cares.
Thank you, Ms. Earl Sears. Well, we have many more topics up for debate tonight, including transgender issues and reproductive rights. We will be back after this quick break.
All right, we're gonna let that go, and we'll come back. So there's a few things you need to know about Spanberger. She's ex-CIA. She had a very short-lived career in the CIA. She's very much progressive socialist with her viewpoints, but she's also a little bit of a war hawk at the same time, and you would expect that from somebody in Intel. Cashless bail, progressive DAs, late-term abortions. She's essentially Northam Part 2. She wants to tax the hell out of businesses here. She wants to hit the data centers and charge them ungodly amounts of money for energy. And to do that, she wants to keep them close to the power structures inside Virginia, which unfortunately impacts the ability for people to have their home prices and have neighborhoods develop and be appealing for others, because they just stack these data centers in the middle of Nova in North Virginia. And I couldn't care less about North Virginia. We're in the real Virginia, and we're not in Alexandria or Ashburn or anywhere like that. But we're in a small town, and our concerns are Second Amendment rights, parents' rights in the schools, and ensuring our elections are free and fair, but also the expansion of Washington, D.C. into Virginia with more regulations when it comes to building and zoning laws inside Virginia, especially our areas in Round Hill. It seems like they're trying to push us out and price us out. The best way to describe it is the house that we moved in here was essentially 50% increase on its overall value in less than 1 year during COVID, just to show you how small the housing market is here. Folks, we want to be here for more than an hour tonight. We really do. And it's really important for us to do this debate and then also bring you some news today. But we can't do that unless we fund the show. So this whole show was designed for you guys tonight. We got almost 1,000 people on. We gotta get the goal going. So if you can help us out, we'd appreciate it. Novus Prep, donate $10. Appreciate the coverage. Absolutely. Southeast Virginia. Thank you so much for that. Let's get back to the debate, and let's just remember, if we can, to help out the show. Thank you.
30 seconds.
I'm a mother of 3 daughters in Virginia public schools, and nothing is more important to me than their safety and their experience in schools.
$1 enough,
I'm
Happy.
also
We appreciate
a former
you.
federal agent, and I work to investigate crimes against children. And so nothing is more important to me than the safety of all of our children. And that work, in part, has earned me the endorsement of Virginia's Police Benevolent Association.
Ms. Earl Sears, Ms.
Importantly,
Spanberger is talking. Please let her finish.
on issues related to what's happening in our schools and each individual community, I think it's important that we have parents and teachers and administrators making decisions about their individual schools, not politicians. And if we are talking about the safety of our children, I would ask why my opponent continues to support efforts to defund public safety, an effort carried on continually by this
Ms.
administration.
Spanberger, once again, the question was, should
She has to answer
transgender
one
girls
thing.
who are biological males be allowed to use girls' bathrooms and play on girls' sports teams in K through 12? You have 15 seconds to clarify.
In cases across Virginia, I think it's incumbent upon parents and educators and administrators in each local community
She's
to make
cooked.
decisions
She's getting
locally.
cooked. Just cooked.
about.
For the
Ms.
people who are
Sears?
telling
There should
Sears
never
to be
be
quiet, she can't. She has to get her time in, and she's irritating the living hell out of Spanberger. And Spanberger hasn't asked a question all night. Every single question she has punted to everyone other than her.
Sears, this is Ms. Spanberger's time. I have a follow-up question for Ms. Spanberger. Would you rescind the Youngkin administration policy requiring boys and girls to use bathrooms aligning with their biological sex? You have 30 seconds.
My priority would be to ensure that local communities, importantly parents and teachers
That's
and
a yes or
educators,
no.
are able to work together to meet the unique needs of each school and each community.
The girls
and
need
that is
privacy.
important. And I say that as a mother of 3 daughters in Virginia public schools.
Exactly.
And as someone who used to investigate crimes against children. The way that we keep our children safe is by ensuring they are safe in schools, which includes funding law enforcement and public safety.
Ms.
at its-
Spanberger, the question was,
It's a no answer.
would you rescind the Youngkin administration policy?
Yeah, you got to trust
requiring
Winsome.
boys and girls
They
to
they
use
know how to
bathrooms
get to her,
aligning
and
with
she
their
is in her
biological
craw.
sex? You have
And
15
because
seconds to
can I just she's
clarify.
not going to answer this, so I'm just going to give you. Here's why: because what Spanberger wants to do is turn around to her, and I'm just going to say it, and I'm not going to say the real word. She just wants to turn around and tell her, "Hey, shut up," and drop the N-bomb on her. She's an elitist. She's a Democrat. She's a socialist progressive. She looks down on black people. She is responsible and believes in the modern day slave plantations. She is a snobby elitist, and she looks down on Sears, and that's why she's treated her this way. She hasn't answered one question tonight.
To sign legislation restricting bathrooms by birth sex. Does this position discriminate against transgender girls? You have 60 seconds.
I'm not for discriminating against anyone. What I'm saying is just very plain common sense. And I'm going to answer the question my opponent refused to answer, which is simply this. I will not rescind the governor's executive order. We know that girls want to have privacy. It's really that simple. And my opponent will not answer the question because she voted for men nude in girls' locker rooms, in bathrooms, and in girls' sports. She will refuse to protect our girls in Title IX, which is simply, an opportunity for girls to have their safe space. This is not hard. Are you going to change in a gym where men are nude in the locker rooms? Are you going to do that, Abigail?
Ms. Earl
I
Sears.
don't think you will. What about your girl children if they came home crying and said that
Ms.
there
Earl
was a
Sears,
male
we're gonna
in
do
the
a
locker
follow-up
room?
question with you.
What would you do?
You will both have a chance to rebut, too, so I
She's
want to make
crushing
sure
her.
that you both
Folks,
understand
I just
that.
wanted to say-
Ms. Earl Sears, a follow-up question now.
Tim,
You said-
Thank you so very, very much. That means the world to us, and it helps out tremendously. And I'm going to get emotional. That is awesome. Thank you. $300. Thank you so much. That means the world to us. We can't tell you how much that means to us. Thank
a
you.
safety threat, yes or no, and why? You have 30 seconds.
So we know that biological men are larger in strength than women. We understand this. This is biology. If you look at football teams, you can see the difference between males and females. This is not hard. And that's why I'm asking my opponent, if your little girl comes home and said she was forced to undress in a locker room with a biological
Hit her.
boy, what would you say? She's crying. What would you say? Would you?
So while
you
she's
not
doing
going to
this, all you have to do now is say, so let me get this straight. You're okay with kids getting shot by political opponents and murdering their parents. You're now okay with men going into the dressing room. Maybe we should stop this debate because I don't know if Virginia can handle any more of Spanberger, and she is in no position to do any of these things. And I think Virginians agree that they can't risk putting her in. When they get to abortion, she has just a lineup of 3 or 4 things she can just crush her with. Bam, 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 bam. How can you say you want to protect the future of Virginia?
Ms. Spanberger, your time is up. And now, Ms. Earl Sears, it's your turn for rebuttal.
Yes.
You have 30 seconds.
Yes. So again, I want you to go to SpanbergerLies.com. Listen, she's talk about defunding and all that. You know who voted to defund the police? You did. When you voted for the Justice and Policing Act. You voted for that, and you took
wrong, baby?
money from the PAC that said we must defund the police and get rid of their qualified immunity. When are you going to give back that money? Thousands of dollars I will not
Ms. Earl
defund
Sears,
the police
your time is
or
up.
get rid of their
We have
qualified
other topics
immunity.
to get to. We're going to move on now to reproductive rights. Deanna?
Thanks, Tom. Abortion is legal in Virginia through the second trimester
Get it right here.
with
Here you
limited
go.
third trimester exceptions. There's also a push to codify abortion access in our state constitution. Ms. Earl Sears, you have supported both a 15-week and 6-week abortion limit. As governor, what would you advocate for? You have 60 seconds.
So my position is that the Commonwealth needs to come together and figure out where it wants to be. It's not going to be my view. It's going to be a view of the majority. My opponent, on the other hand, has the extremist view, which is abortion up until the very hour that the baby could be born.
Hit her.
Up until the very
You want to kill
minute,
kids with your political
the very
opponents.
minute. And
You want to
so
have
would
grown
have
men
a
in them with
baby
in
aborted
showers and
on
in
the
changing
table.
rooms,
What
and
do
now
we
you
do
want to
then,
abort them.
Abigail?
Can you please tell me, why do you hate kids so much?
Ms. Earl Sears.
What do
Ms.
we
Earl
do
Sears?
with a full live baby aborted on the
Ms. Earl
minute
Sears.
it could be
Yeah.
born?
Ms. Earl Sears,
Hit her.
I need you to ask the question that I'm asking. I'm asking the questions here, and so I want to know about what would you advocate for in terms of a limit. I know that you just said it's not about your view, but you will have veto powers if you became governor. So what would you be willing to support as governor?
So I've
You have 30
answered-
seconds.
So I've answered the question. I've said it's not my view. It's going to be what the majority of Virginians want. And by the way, there's a constitutional amendment, and the voters will make that decision.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
It's
Earl
up to the
Sears. Ms.
state.
Spanberger, you say you want to keep Virginia the last bastion
Thank
of
you, Mel.
reproductive freedom in the South. Do you support any limits on abortion? You have 60 seconds.
Thank you, Mel.
When the Dobbs decision was made, it was very quickly clear that state after state would move to restrict abortion access, as my opponent has previously supported. In states where they further restricted abortion access,
Ms. Earl
women
Sears,
the
Ms.
time
Earl
the
have
baby
died.
could be born.
Women
Ms. Earl Sears, it is
pregnant
Ms.
with
Spanberger's
very
time.
wanted children, women with ectopic pregnancies were sent home, and women have died.
Oh, come on.
If my opponent were to
on.
become governor, that is what she would inflict
Don't
upon
lie like
Liar.
that.
Virginia.
Ms. Earl
Liar.
Sears,
I
Ms.
support
Earl
that.
Sears,
Don't do
I
that.
Ms.
support
Earl
the
Sears,
Roe
Virginia's voters cannot
standard.
hear if you're talking over Ms. Spanberger.
I
Please
support
give her time.
the Roe standard. I support the constitutional amendment
you,
that
Tommy.
is moving forward.
Appreciate you, buddy.
That makes clear the
Ms. Earl Sears,
I support
it's difficult to hear Ms. Spanberger if you're talking over her.
I support the Roe standard, which is what this codification of a constitutional amendment moving forward would be. That's what I will support as governor, though I will not have a vote on it. I will support it. But importantly, my opponent has threatened murder to women who have had abortions. That is not the
Just
type
move
of
on.
leadership.
Just let her go.
Ms.
Let her
Spanberger,
go.
You're out of time. I just
no,
want to follow
I
up.
need a rebuttal.
Well,
I need a
Ms.
rebuttal.
Earl
I'm
Sears, I have
sorry.
to follow up right now because it was difficult for me to hear Ms. Spanberger
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you, buddy.
on her answer. So just to be clear, are there any limits that you support in terms of abortion access, including for minors?
I'll answer
You have
all these
30
questions.
seconds.
Save your
I support
questions.
the
Add
current
Q
laws
to it, and I'll
within
answer
Virginia,
every one of
which
your
include
questions when we're
limits on
done.
minors obtaining abortions.
I can't
which
pause it. It's a
include,
live feed.
Limits in after the second trimester. I
that's not how you
support
voted.
those the current laws here in the Commonwealth of Virginia,
You
and that
voted
is
for
what is
abortion.
moving forward as a constitutional amendment here in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. We are now going to move on to immigration.
I
with
thought
Tom.
I was going to
All
get
right,
an
thank you.
opportunity to rebut.
We're moving on to other topics. We have a lot to cover tonight, Ms. Earl Sears, so we'll get to you in a moment on a different topic. For now, it's immigration and public safety. We're going to start with Governor Glenn Youngkin has tasked Virginia State Police with helping ICE to remove people living in the country illegally. Ms. Spanberger, we're going to start with you. You've said using local and state police for ICE raids is
You guys,
dangerous.
Okay, I have to say this. You guys, this is the strategy of Sears. Whoever's working her campaign is a genius. It's the same feedback. I guess I'm calling myself a genius, but I'm pretty good at this. They're trying to make it look like it's the moderators versus Sears, and they're trying to save Spanberger. They're trying to make Spanberger look weak and ineffectual and a coward. And this is the way Northam was. This is the way Terry McAuliffe was. Virginians know cowards when they see it. And even moderates will vote for a Republican and move it forward. That's what they did with Youngkin. They knew 100% that McAuliffe was a coward. They had him before. They're trying to go ahead and hang her with her policies because her policies are exactly like Northam, exactly like McAuliffe, and she's doing everything she can to get those moderators to abuse her. She's doing it right. Trust me. Just let her cook.
Federal agencies when there is a warrant. Importantly, what I have been talking about, and anytime there is someone with any level of criminality, someone wanted for a criminal offense, absolutely that cooperation shouldn't just occur, but it must.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. Now, Ms. Earl Sears, you've said you support local law enforcement's involvement with ICE raids. But critics argue that in high immigrant communities, they're seeing fewer people reporting crimes and cooperating with police. Now, are you concerned about those negative impacts to public safety? You have 60 seconds.
So I'm just going to say, folks, go to SpanbergerLies.com. I think we're about up to number 10. She's accused me of murder, which is very interesting because the very person who spouted murder, you won't even say that they should get out of the race. And now you're talking about this?
Yes.
My goodness gracious. We have found 4,000
Don't mess with a Christian woman
illegals who are criminally here. And the number 3 MS-13 gang leader here we found. We have found communist Chinese gangs here. We have found cartel members here. And they're here because my opponent did not vote to shut down our borders. And because of you and that vote, fentanyl came across the borders and killed 5 Virginians every week. Where were you when we needed you for that vote? And then out of your own mouth, Abigail, you have said the first thing you're going to do is to make Virginia a sanctuary state. I didn't say that. You said
Ms.
that.
Earl Sears.
That's your lie,
Ms.
if
Earl
you're
Sears,
going
your
to
time
say
is
that.
up, and the question was, are you concerned about people not being able to or not cooperating with police, those people who are here possibly illegally for fear of being deported? That was the question we were looking for, the answer to that question. You have 15 seconds to clarify.
So as an immigrant to this great country, I understand that the first part of obeying the laws of the country
immigrant.
is
And
that
a
we
Marine,
have to obey the laws of the
and
country.
a female, and black.
I am focusing on
Democrats
those who
are gonna have a hard time voting
criminally
against her.
here. And we don't need them here. And my opponent did not vote for the Lake
Ms.
and
Earl
Riley
Sears?
Act, which simply said if you're criminally illegally
time is
here,
up.
murderers, rapists,
Ms. Earl Sears, your time is
pedophiles
up.
have to go back home.
We're going to move on to the next topic, education, with my colleague Deanna.
If anyone out of the 1,000 some odd people watching, 1,200 people watching right now, if one of you know Miss Sears, I want to host her in our house. We're in Virginia. We want to bring her here and have her talk to our audience. We have 40,000 Virginians who watch this show on repeat. We need to get a hold of her. So if you're her campaign manager and you're watching, we're streaming this. Nobody else is.
That parents ought to be
help us out
in their child's education. You know, I am my child's first teacher, and I don't co-parent with the government. And so that's why I strongly support parents being involved in education. But you know who doesn't? My opponent, Abigail Spanberger. She had the opportunity to vote for the Parents' Rights Act.
Yes, she
didn't.
did.
It simply said this: if the curriculum is being changed, then I need to know as a parent. Abigail, why did you vote against parents on that? And it also said, if my child is not on grade level, reading, writing, arithmetic, all of that by the 3rd grade, then I as a parent needs to know. Abigail voted against the parents knowing where their child was
guaranteed.
by the time they
There's
were on
12
grade
minutes
level.
left.
Why would you do that?
5
Why are you
point
voting against
jump
parents?
easily.
Why are you not voting for them? Then she voted against the parents knowing whether there was violence in the schools. Abigail, this is a simple question. Why did you vote for that? Why would you vote for parents not knowing if violence is being committed?
Ms. Earl Sears, I have a follow-up question for you.
Ma'am.
I'm specifically asking not just about general involvement in education, but about designing the school curriculum more specifically.
There you
so
go.
is that something you believe parents should be involved in? Or
Yes.
do you believe that
Say it.
educators
Yes.
should be taking the lead and it
Yes.
should be left up to them? You
Yes.
have 30 seconds.
As I said, parents, we are their parents all day, twice on Sundays. We are their parents. We must be involved. How will we know what is happening in the schools? How will we know if our children are being educated? You know, when Ralph Northam, the Democrat governor, voted to shut down government, he shut down our schools. And as a result, there was a learning loss. And my opponent, Abigail Spanberger, when we wanted to reopen the schools, the governor immediately said upon inauguration, the schools must be open. Abigail said, no, they must be out for a whole semester. She took all that money from the teachers union, and that's what they wanted, and that's what she voted for.
Ms. Earl Sears, you're out of time. Ms. Spanberger, should the governor and state agencies decide which books are in school classrooms, or should parents have a voice in that decision? You have 60 seconds.
I'm a mother of 3 daughters in Virginia public schools, and just this week, I have spent time at my daughter's school for a school event, and I have emailed with another one of my daughter's teachers about her ongoing work. So she should be advised that I've had some of that communication. But it is important that parents are involved every step of the way, as I have been.
Then
In
why
fact,
did you vote against
with
the Parental Rights Act?
with my
Sears,
9th
please.
grade daughter, who is actually here with us in the audience, it's because
Well,
of
your
communication
daughter's
from
probably
her
a little
teacher
embarrassed
that
from her
I
mom.
purchased the books that she'll be studying. Parent engagement is
Thanks,
extraordinarily
Lisa. We
important,
appreciate
and
it.
I support the strength of our public schools. Because public schools across Virginia provide
But your vote was
opportunity.
not
They
that.
provide opportunity
Ms.
to
Earl
students
Sears.
everywhere. And unlike my opponent, I do not support
You on
defunding
your
public
vote,
Ms. Earl
schools.
Sears.
I do not support taking public dollars out of public schools, as my opponent has advocated
you
for the
say,
entire
Thank you,
state.
Ms. Earl
Lucas.
Sears. Ms. Earl Sears, we're not going to be able to get to as many topics if we keep having to give Ms.
Yeah,
Spanberger
but
time
she
as you're
continues
interrupting
to
her.
lie. I think I'm up to lie 12.
But Ms.
My
Ms.
opponent
Earl
is
Sears, you
Abigail.
will have chance.
To answer your question,
No.
Lieutenant Governor, it was federal government overreach
moving
and
on
an
to the next
unfunded
topic.
mandate.
Yeah, here
That
we
is
go.
what I told my
Candidates.
Here we
Republican
go.
colleagues
We're
at the
moving on
time.
to
If
the
you
next
want to be
topic now.
federal, you should have stayed in
Ms.
Congress.
Earl Sears, it was
Oh,
time to move on to
shit.
the next
You wanted
topic.
to
So
be federal, you should have
Oh.
stayed in
The next
Congress.
topic now, please. We're going to go to Ms. Spanberger here.
That's
on
the
topic of
soundbite
marijuana.
that's going to be
You have
everywhere.
stated your support legalizing
She
a
got
retail
cooked.
market
That's
for
it.
recreational
There,
marijuana.
that is her Donald Trump moment.
Public safety.
That is her Richard Nixon against Kennedy moment. That is binders full of women moment. That is Ronald Reagan's moment. That I won't hold your young age against you. She says, if you wanted to be federal, you should have stayed in the Senate. It's gorgeous.
Why you
By
should
President
have
Trump
voted
related to
Sears.
stopping
Lake
the
and
flow
Riley
of
Fed.
fentanyl
We can't hear
into
whenever
our
you're talking over each
country.
other. Please continue.
As the only person on stage who's had
Gorgeous.
a bill signed into law by President Trump restricting fentanyl flowing into our country and tightening our border security,
didn't
and
follow
as the
your
only
vote.
person on stage
didn't
with
follow
the
your vote.
endorsement
Ms.
of
Earl
the
Sears.
Police
What in the world?
Benevolent Association, it is extraordinarily
If she'll
important that we
fight
have
like this in a
transparency,
debate, how hard do you
and
think
that
she'll
there
fight for
is
you when
a
she's governor?
Clear market in order to
Virginians,
be
you gotta
enforced,
get out. We're not
because
doing
it
good
is in
enough.
the
You gotta get out and
absence of
vote.
An open and clear and extraordinarily.
Sorry, Spanberger's just going to fill. So what she said is, because Spanberger was talking about the expansion and overall control of the federal government. She said, if you wanted to stay in the federal government, or if you wanted to be in the federal government, you should have stayed in the Senate. It just shows that she's big government, and Virginians it'll resonate with.
Sale of any cannabis products in Virginia. You have 30 seconds.
I believe in medicinal marijuana. I believe it has value. But you know, I had a business, and when I had my business and my employees came up positive for marijuana, they couldn't work for me. They couldn't drive my trucks. They couldn't go in and repair anything. We were working on gas. We're working on electric. We can't afford to have people who are working and they don't know what they're doing. They'll blow everything up. Now, my opponent, I don't understand. You know, she says one thing and then she does another, or she does one thing and says another.
Your time
We
is up,
can't
Ms.
figure
Sears.
her out.
Ms. Earl Sears, your time is up.
Who are you,
Ms.
Abigail?
Earl
There you
Sears,
go.
we
Ms.
are
Earl
moving
Sears,
on
we're
to
moving
talk
on.
about the current administration, and I'm going to be starting with you for this topic. A central theme of your campaign is let's keep a good thing going, referring to Governor Youngkin's time in office. Is there anything that you would do differently? You have 30 seconds.
So the governor and I have had many talks, as you can imagine. We ran as a team and we work as a team. And I'd been previously elected in 2001, and then I left a political office. And, you know, I saw how badly our children were not being educated, and so I came back. I said somebody
The
ought to do something.
GOP
and I
has made
figured
a
that was
huge
me.
mistake
So
with
the
this
governor
lady,
and I, as
and
I've
they
said,
better
we've created all
rectify
of
it
these wonderful
now.
jobs. In fact, my opponent was before the State Chamber of Commerce and saying in January that she was running on the successes of all the businesses that we've been able to bring here. Now she's suddenly running away from it.
Just a quick follow-up, Ms. Earl Sears. So is there one thing that you would do differently from Governor Youngkin? You have 15 seconds to clarify.
So you know who
Good.
wasn't
Make a
running
good one.
away from all the wonderful successes we've had in bringing jobs here? My opponent. She loved everything that we've done. So why would I run away? And by the way, the things that I'm talking with the governor about, I'm not going to disclose here to you.
Good for you.
Thank you, Ms. Earl Sears. Ms. Spanberger, Governor Youngkin is wrapping up his term with positive approval ratings, according to our Emerson College Next Star poll. Are there any Youngkin policies or priorities you would keep if you were elected governor? You have 30 seconds.
Absolutely. I think Governor Youngkin has made a strong path forward on advanced nuclear, welcoming advanced nuclear here to the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's something that I supported during my time in Congress, and as governor, I will continue to ensure that Virginia can be a leader. Ma'am, that is not true.
That's true.
I
That's
support
all
an
you
all
said
of the
you
above
wanted.
strategy,
You
and
know
I
that.
think
Ms.
advanced
Earl
nuclear
Sears,
is extraordinarily
I need you
important.
to let her speak.
But importantly, places where I do
Michael Bills isn't
differ,
going to let you have
places
Ms. Earl
where I
Sears.
differ would be on the fact that Virginia lost its place as the #1 place for business, and we have had 7 months of rising
Are you going to
unemployment
let her?
rates here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I
Thank
would
you.
work to lower costs
she's
and
still
grow
talking.
our economy
Thank you, Ms.
in the face of
Spanberger.
these challenges.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. We're moving on to our next question.
Yeah, we are winding down tonight, and we want to end with one fun question. So this
Fun?
would be, I think, something that'll
This
bring
has been a
smile to our
blast so
faces
far.
tonight. The mother of presidents is the state of Virginia. Little history lesson here. So Virginia has 8 U.S.-born presidents. We'll start with Ms. Spanberger. Which one is your favorite? You have 30 seconds.
As a UVA alumna, I'm going to have to go with Thomas Jefferson.
Why? Because he owned slaves?
And why?
Because he started the university, with all due respect to graduates of other universities.
Jefferson
Okay.
did a hell of a lot more than that, lady.
Ms. Earl Sears, who is your favorite Virginia president?
Well, I would have to say it would have to be the very first one, George Washington.
There you go.
He was a profile in courage, absolutely. It is because of him why we don't have monarchs here. It is because of him why we have a constitutional republic.
Thank
Without
you.
him, I don't think we would have had what we
Thank
have
you,
today.
Ms. Earl Sears. We want to make sure that we get to closing statements, so we'll begin with you. You have 30 seconds.
Thank you for coming, and those of you who are listening. This is a momentous occasion, and it's very important. And you know, I ran a men's prison ministry, as I've said. I have mopped the floors of a homeless shelter, and I have given quite a bit of my life to service. I'm a United States Marine. I know how to defend and deliver for Virginia. I will continue to do so. I think I'm the only blue-collar worker in
Thank
this
you.
race. Please support
Thank
me
you.
for governor.
Thank you, Ms. Earl Sears. Ms. Spanberger, why should you be governor? 30 seconds.
When I served as a federal agent at CIA and then in Congress, I always
6
endeavored
years.
to put Virginians first. As governor, I will do the same thing. I will always put Virginians first. And importantly, at this time when we are seeing attacks on Virginia's healthcare, Virginia's workforce, and the tariffs that are wreaking havoc on our communities, my opponent has not done the same, putting her allegiance to Donald Trump first, no matter the cost. As governor, I will work to lower costs, protect our schools, strengthen our schools, and keep our public
interrupt her.
safety. That is why Virginia's firefighters, police,
Yeah, yeah.
Democrats, and
Yeah, yeah.
Republicans
If I were taking
are
a drink
supporting
for
me.
every Trump
and
vote
That is all
she
the time
said,
we have
I tell you,
tonight.
we would be drunk by now.
That is all the time we have. We want to
Abigail,
thank you
where did
both,
you learn
Abigail
to not
Spanberger
like
and
that?
Winsome Earl Sears, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for joining us on this debate.
They should be ashamed. You know what? I'll tell you this. I would put both of them in this room, and you could give me 2 hours, and I promise you the debate that I would moderate between those two would be 10 times better than what you just watched. That was a shit show. And the fact that Sears had to get in and interrupt her because the time, I mean, if you look at the time disparity, I guarantee it was a 5-to-1 ratio. And the questions that they tried to save Spanberger. They tried to give her every single thing. She was prepped. She had her questions ahead of time. I guarantee it. Winsome Sears did not have her questions ahead of time. She did not jump on, Trump's coattails once. It was absolutely clean. She crucified her. She won abortion hands down because she got her to admit that late-term abortion was 100% part of her policy, which it is, up until time of birth, and even after, as Northam said, to make the baby comfortable when a doctor and the mother can make a choice. They didn't get to the Second Amendment, which I think is a travesty because that's a very big topic here. And that would have kind of united the Trump base and the Trump coalition. I would have liked to have seen her when she was flirting with free speech, have Winsome Sears come in and say, and also the reason why we have free speech still from this republic is because of our Second Amendment. We are the Don't Tread on Me state. We are the Gadsden. We are the Second Amendment. And this is where we are. And Virginia is for lovers, but we also protect our loved ones with the Second Amendment. It would have been good to have that there. It's fine. She doesn't need it. It was the last debate. Spanberger limped into this. She's been bleeding percentage points because she is unable to do anything resembling answering a question. Winsome Sears, I didn't know she had this. I listen, I've been following her for four and a half, well, God, longer than that, 6 years. And I've always liked her. And Ben Carson, that is a perfect thing. But Ben Carson with fire. Like, she has Trump's fire, but Ben Carson's wicked smarts and deceptive smarts, because she comes off as kind of a good old girl. And she is. She comes from the Marine Corps. She had a business where she was an electrician, a plumber, a Shenandoah Plumbing and something, I believe. So she is blue collar, and she's an immigrant. She checks every single box for the Democrats. She's African-American / Jamaican, which I'm not going to get into that with people. I've already done that on this show with Kamala Harris. So she's Jamaican, but there is African genealogy and roots there because that's where Jamaican people came from originally. So you've got that. You've got, and I don't care about any of these things, but identity politics is Democrats' modus operandi. You got, she's a woman, she's a veteran, she checks all the boxes. And Youngkin, they voted for Youngkin before, and they came out in droves. Here's the thing: Spanberger got crucified on the question of the text messages, and the guy who's running for AG. And what he said was shooting his political opponents and killing their kids. She would not denounce him and would not tell him to drop out. She got destroyed. That thing went on for like 5-6 minutes. That is a freaking like month in debate time. The sound bites that she got from that. She got her on abortion, like I said. And then she got her with transgenders in schools, and how she is completely fine with men changing with young girls. So she's got, the next commercial needs to be, Abigail Spanberger is bad for your kids. Write-in candidate. Oh, dude, don't spam my thread. Don't, you know, if you got something to say it, but don't spam my thread, bro. You're a loser. You're a complete loser. Write-in candidate. You do that, bro. And you hand it off to Spanberger, and we'll have Northam and Terry McAuliffe 2.0. You're banned from my thread. You could have just come in and said that one time. You don't need to spam my thread, you dumb dick. Goodbye. You are the weakest link. Bye-bye. So the thing is like, this is the first time that people are seeing Winsome Sears with real teeth. So this is going to be a good thing. But the GOP has done her a horrible disservice. Horrible. The GOP is nowhere to be found. Her signs are nowhere to be found. The GOP is not pushing. They should have the speaker out here talking in diners. They need to hit every single major artery of traffic with all of her banners. They need to put ads and commercials. I want a $25 million ad buy in Virginia right now. I'll cut the commercials for free. I will cut from that right there where she called her a Fed. She will crush on that alone. Virginians don't, even though there's a lot of Virginians who work here, the people who don't work in Washington don't like the Fed. We don't like big government. We're the Commonwealth. We don't agree with that stuff. So you hit her on that. Then you hit her on the 3 about kids, how Abigail Spanberger is dangerous for your kids, because she is. She openly said she's for late-term abortions. She openly said that late-term, that men can change in women's dressing rooms and in sports. She wouldn't stand up against that. And she would not denounce somebody who threatened to kill their political opponent, put a bullet in the woman and man's head, the mother and father, and then kill the children. Right there, you've got those 3 sound bites to make one of the most wicked commercials ever. You put $25 million into that, and you get on every station. You get on WMAL. You get on iHeart. And you crush conservative talk radio. And you make every single topic, every single one on Monday morning. Get out and vote. Get out and vote early. Everybody get out. Do your part. We need a Youngkin 2.0. If you don't do that, she's not going to win. But I'll tell you, she's going to jump 5 points from this. She's going to get a 5-point push. You won't see it until midweek when the polls come out. But those polls will be sampled Monday and Tuesday. They'll come out Wednesday or Thursday morning. You'll see a 5-point bump. I don't know if she'll take the lead, but she's going to break even. Right now, she's about 5 to 6 in some polls. Other polls, they have her at 2. But the over-under is probably about 5 to 6 points. That is close enough to win. Remember, she's always going to get fatigue from Trump fatigue, and she's going to get the shadow vote. So you have to make sure that you get her around 3 or 4 points into Spanberger by the time election hits. You get her within 3 to 4 points, she'll win the election. I'm going to deep dive into the numbers. We're going to keep looking into it. But that was the best debate performance from attacking a candidate and trying to get her to do the old way, which is them just have a conversation. Spanberger didn't want any of it. She needed to be saved by the moderators. Everyone will see this. This is very Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump in 2016 on the second debate. It will literally change this campaign. Why don't I send these ideas to her? Because they won't listen. I've been trying to get her on the show for months. And I've told her, get your butt in here and let me do that. You and I will cook together. I said, I will put $1,000 behind it and donate to her campaign, or I'll put promotions on it, and I will cut clips all day from what she does. She should be in this room because this is how Trump won. And podcasts are listened to. And I hate to say it, and this isn't egotistical, but Tim Pool owns West Virginia and we own Virginia. You can't name another political podcast the size of ours. I don't think there is one in Virginia, which baffles me. But this is a pretty big podcast in regards to, right now we've got 1,500 people on. Most of it's Twitter. And then, of course, we have Facebook, which has 63 because Facebook is full of, they suppress everybody. Our traffic is completely, as soon as October hit, they shut everybody down. I think people are going to keep their cards close to the chest. I think people are going to keep their votes quiet. Yeah, I do. Yeah. No, but we have 1,000 cars go by a day, and we have a property here where we have a half acre in our front yard that I can put a big 20-foot span or Sears sign up. Totally want to. But you guys need to go to SpanbergerLies.com. And go read it. Because that's pretty crazy. That is crazy. You got to put in donations. Yeah, that was good. What do you guys think? How do you feel about it? I thought it was awesome. But the GOP needs to get their act together. They have not put in, President Trump needs to get out here. President Trump needs to come down, hold a little rally for her. It doesn't matter what she said in the past. 2028, Virginia can go red. You've just got to get her to be the governor. And if you do that, we can hold for 2 years. But if this goes blue, you're going to lose it. You can't let her take it. The AG position, he's going to have to drop out. Looks like I just lost internet, folks. And that is, hold on. Thanks for reposting. Oh, come on. See if this went through. Come on, internet. Come on, internet. Don't quit on me. Come on. Yeah, she needs a Trump endorsement. I hope I didn't lose everybody. That would suck. Yeah, put Trump in Fairfax. Go into their stomping grounds. Put him in Leesburg. You guys let me know if we're green. I'm still on Twitter. Okay. Sometimes what happens is I get an internet glitch. And Frank Wood, $25. Thank you, Frankie. We appreciate you, buddy. I got to get some of these donations in, then we can talk about some other stuff. I got to give it to Sears. It was fantastic. I'm going to clip it. She crushed Spanberger. Just crushed her. It was brutal. In a good way, you know? She really did a good job. I'm very proud of her. Yeah, she interrupted a little bit, but how can you not? With as much as those moderators were just being hometown fans, you know what I mean? You've got to get in where you can. Sorry, I'm putting in donations, everybody. I'll be right there. My assistant is not here, who happens to be thy wife. All right, listen. Gives us a chance to, if you have Joanne Townsend, thank you so much. By the way, folks, 1,628 people, 1,537 watching on Twitter. I'm interested to find out where we are in Twitter.
We're going to work together and
Just want to take a look, seeing where we're ranked on live shows right now. Oh, come on. Let's go. What the hell? All right, get out of that. Yeah, everybody needs to show up. Rural Virginia absolutely needs to show up. Folks, if you have not followed us over on Twitter and you are, first time watching our show, please do me a favor and follow, like, and share. We are leading Twitter right now. Live. That's pretty exciting. There it is. 1.5 thousand. So thank you everybody for watching. That is a huge number for us. We've done that a couple times, but this is exciting to see. So thank you. If you've not followed us, please do. It is harder than anything to follow. Get follows on Twitter. We've done everything we can. It's tough. Here's what we're going to do. I want to dive into some of the news going on right now, and I know we've got about 45 minutes left. We've already hit goal, but remember, you can always help out with goal. We're going to do a quick commercial, which is 2.5 minutes, and it's kind of funny because you get to see the family. And then we'll be right back, and we're going to dive into it. And if you haven't seen the show before and what we do, I mean, we're pretty critical. We like to dive into politics. We like to kind of look at everything. We are conservative, but we do take different approaches than others. Give us a chance. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. It's a good chance to take a potty break if you are so inclined. And then we're going to get right back to it. So hang in there, hang tight, and we'll be right back. Don't leave. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Olivia Spear, host of The Dumb Show. For 3.5 years, we never asked for donations. But after Facebook demonetized us for speaking the
Love
truth,
you, Melanie.
we
Thank
had
you.
to turn to the one thing big tech can't cancel: you.
I'm Hayden, Matt and Olivia's daughter. This show's never chased sponsors or sold out. We've built something honest, and it's thanks to you.
I'm Ethan, their son. Every share, every dollar, every message, you're the reason we can keep calling out the BS and bringing color back to the world going great.
Good job, Marguerite. Thank you for voting.
PayPal, Venmo, or snail mail. You can send it to P.O. Box 2, Round Hill, Virginia 20142.
Can't donate? No problem. Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored. You can donate at thedumbshow.com/donate.
You know what happens when you turn the dial harder? You can make a harder grimace. The harder you grimace, the more effective it is.
You tighten it so frickin' I can't do it. I can't untighten
That's what she said.
That's what she's. Oof. Jason, that's Facebook. That's how many followers we have on Facebook. Pound.
Child 15.
Ethan, you look like a hippie.
Told the WeTube.
You know this is recording, right?
Okay, let's go. Smile. Donate. Don't start with me. Donations. Every time you don't smile, I'm gonna punch you in the ribs. Donations. Take one. Scene one. Ready. Set. Ethan.
Break.
Ready. Don't screw it up.
Okay.
Ethan, don't mess this up. Ready. Set. Action. No. Whoa. Director calls action, not some stupid toddler.
But we've built something
There's no but there. Why do you've been doing this since you were 2 years old. Try it again.
Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
He's so much better than you.
Thanks, Lisa. It's good to have you here. We appreciate you.
He's just like, even, it's just, go ahead, Hayden.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored.
That's a wrap. Well done, Spear family. I bet we make no money.
But I'm gonna owe them money without.
Hayden, do your thing again.
Oh, yeah, cut it.
Baby shark, doo 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 doo.
Yes, thank you everyone for your support. That's my beautiful family. Love them to death. Except for my neighbor with a giant motorcycle. D, that guy. Seriously. She's probably not watching. I always go to the bathroom with you, Paul. That's just great, dude. Listen, welcome to the show. There's something that's kind of cool about our show is we bring my family. My wife is on the show. Good friends are on the show. We bring in our listeners. And occasionally we bring in my family. And my daughter is in choir, and she's also does a lot of acting at our schools, and our schools are very prestigious when it comes to their plays, and they've done incredible renditions. They did Mamma Mia last year, and then before that they did the Beauty and the Beast, and Beauty and the Beast was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. From the set to the music to the sing, I mean, it was incredible. Like unfreaking believable. A lot of people got to be our guests when they did it, and you're talking 100 kids being a part of this, and dishes floating around, and the sequence. It was incredible. I mean, as a father, I got goosebumps talking about it right now. But anyway, my daughter had 2 solos tonight. I didn't get to see it because I made a choice. I made a choice because I think it's that important. And I wish Winsome Sears would know this, but I gave up that to show you the debate because I think it's that important for my Virginian audience. And we have audience all over the world. We have people in South Africa. We have people in Japan. We have people in Afghanistan. I mean, we've got a bigger audience all over the world, but predominantly Canada and the United States is where we kind of live, in England. And we got a lot of Virginian people who watch this. And I have a lot of friends who watch the show who live here in Virginia with me. They know us here. So anyway, this is her solo. I haven't seen it yet. I hope she does well. I'm sure she will do well. Here is her trio solo first, and then we'll show her second solo. My daughter is all the way to the left with the curly hair. Right. Okay, so that's not bad. Did someone ask all 8 presidents? Yeah, easy. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, William Henry Harrison. Zachary Taylor, John Tyler, and Woodrow Wilson. There you go. Merry Christmas. There's all 8. Here is the second one. And this is going to be just my daughter doing her solo. Oh, it's a minute. This should be interesting. Oh, jeez. Come on, honey. Kill it. Oh, yeah, she kills this one. Listen to this.
That place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. It's not easy to know I'm not anything like I used to be, although it's true
Well, that was awesome. I don't even know how to get my windows back up. Son of a bitch. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. That one? Was that it? I don't know. I don't remember. Main cell. All. Oh, damn it. Child. Got me all weepy. Wow. So I've heard her play that on the piano for, and there's a whole nother, but like you give it like 2 minutes and the bridge is so incredible. I mean, she just belts and she goes up full range and it's good. So she can sing the whole song. But she got the solo to the song, which is great. But I've heard it on piano, and every time I hear it, I have to stop and just watch. It's amazing. Wow. Yeah, my daughter has some lungs, and she can play the piano. She's self-taught. She's taught herself how to play the piano. So it's just very, I just love my kid. And why aren't you there? Well, because dad's gotta bring home the bacon sometimes. You know what I mean? Joseph Hillstrom. What is going on, man? Where have you been, dude? It is good to see you. I was worried about you, man. So thanks for donating and being by. All right. I appreciate it. Let me put in this tip history and then we'll get going. We got the rest of the show to do. Oh man, gosh. I love that song. And she does such a good job with it. And it gets heavy and she really crushes it. Joseph, thank you for your donation, brother. I appreciate you. And then I also want to thank Maddie Howenitz. Thank you, buddy. Trying to get this in here, guys. I'm sorry, I'm solo tonight. This isn't the way it usually is. Usually the wife is here and she can help me do this. So I'm kind of slow at it. But we're going to get it going. And I know there's a shit ton of people watching, and I feel horrible that it's taking this long. And then I also started being a wimp and started crying. It's just, my daughter does that to me. Her beauty and the fact that we created that is incredible. Matty Howen, it's new viewers. No show is better when it comes to giving you straight and the best in election coverage. That makes me feel good. Okay. So now that we've seen that, I don't know the name of the song. I'll get it for you, Darla, but it's good. All right, let's rock and roll. We got a lot to do. Want to say thank you for the donations that we've gotten so far, and we'll continue to put those in a few minutes. So a lot going on in the world, obviously, and we're going to move over to X and kind of just dive into some of the things that are happening in the world. Now, we've seen that Donald Trump did a video today. You've had a chance to see it, I'm sure, which talks about Donald Trump and what he has brought to the table when it comes to peace in the Middle East. And this is a huge momentous occasion and honestly launches the Abraham Accords forward and something that's never been done before, which is peace in the Middle East. And he's had a chance to do it 4 times. And we were on the precipice of 5. And we know Donald Trump ran out of time. But Saudi Arabia was on the precipice of joining with Israel, and this would have been with the United Arab Emirates, with Egypt, with Jordan, and Saudi Arabia was going to join and have for the first time ever. And when the Sauds joined from the Middle East, that's pretty much it. That's ball game, because Iran is no longer going to run proxy against the Jews, because then you have Saudi Arabia and Israel, and they will literally just destroy Iran. Like in a blink, because Egypt will join in, Yemen will join. I mean, it'll be the entire Middle East against Iran. And we saw very similar situations when it came to the Iran-Iraq war. Saudi Arabia played a huge part in the Iran-Iraq war. So here's the video I did on this real quick, and then I'm going to show you some of the reaction we're getting from people when it comes to this. Oh, I got to change this window now. Sorry. Here, I'll do this. I'll play it. It's only a minute. Here you go. Hey, liberals, I know it's probably a confusing time for you. I mean, what are you going to do now? can't go out and protest, maybe you might have to get a job or something. But I know it's a disappointing morning for you. But this isn't the first time Donald Trump has done this. I know they just brokered peace between Hamas and Israel. But don't forget Armenia and Azerbaijan, Cambodia, Thailand, the DR Congo and Rwanda, Egypt, Ethiopia, Pakistan, Israel and Bahrain, Israel and Iran, Israel and Morocco, Israel and the Sudan, Israel and UAE, Serbia, Kosovo. It's all got to be so crazy. I mean, this is the man that was supposed to start World War III, and now it's all about world peace. In fact, he is the peace president. The Nobel Peace Prize will be announced this Friday. I wonder if he'll be on it. Out of all the names you've called Donald Trump, you forgot one, your president. You've got another 3 years and 2 months. I hope it gets better for you. Can't get much better for the world.
Rap it hard.
So obviously creating some controversy, but I'm not the only one talking about this. I mean, literally to have Al Sharpton talking about this on MSNBC and call out that they gave it to Barack Obama for nothing. And let's face it, Barack Obama with over 284 drone strikes, taking out, and I don't care, American citizen and also terrorist organizations. Good, I'm fine with that. That's a wonderful thing. I got to give Obama credit for that, but it certainly isn't world peace, and he didn't do anything to earn a Nobel Peace Prize. Donald Trump has earned it 10 times over. And although the level of influence that, people are saying, well, he didn't broker that deal. Listen, the United States has and wields a very large stick, and Teddy Roosevelt said it best. And if you flex that and slap that bat in the palm of your hand, people tend to listen, because the one thing that they don't want is to lose two things. One, it's the two things they don't want to lose, is they don't want to lose the financials of the United States, and they don't want to lose the military protection of the United States, because a lot of these militaries that these countries have that rely on us is because of the treaties that we have with them, or the arrangements that we have, a de facto state of proxying them and becoming benefactors to their military surplus. And if another country comes in and violates those things, they're going to have to face the United States. And the United States has more NATO relationships than NATO has. So something to think about. But here's Al Sharpton talking about the Middle East peace deal, and figured you'd want to hear this. Listen to this.
I think we should give him credit. He gets a Nobel Prize or not, I don't know. I mean, they gave a Nobel Prize to Churchill and didn't give it to Gandhi, so I don't know how they figured this.
They also gave it to Barack Obama before he had actually done anything.
All right, still ahead on Morning Joe. We're going to get
Not
Steve
that Donald Trump noticed
now
that.
stop.
No, he would never notice
We'll
that.
get Steve over.
I think we should give him credit.
So, for them to say that and spit this out, I found it to be kind of interesting. And the problem with it is that Donald Trump doesn't listen. Does he want a Nobel Peace Prize? Of course he does. And he doesn't want it for the accolades. He doesn't want it for the shiny gold in his office. He wants it for one reason: to shove it right in Obama's face, because it's really the only thing that he hasn't done to beat Obama. He's beaten Obama in every other way. He dismantled his legacy. He created peace in the Middle East. He brought jobs back. He created demographic parity in the economy, increased overall COLA expenses, increase in wages for all demographics. His economy was absolutely booming. And then, as we know, when COVID went away, completely rebounded back, and had nothing to do with Joe Biden, because the only thing Biden did was put stagflation in place, just like Obama did, and kept it safe. Depleted our oil reserves, put governors on all leases when it came to drilling, put regulation back on businesses, opened up the border, all of these things that we know that he did. He didn't do anything to help the economy, and then Donald Trump had to come in and fix it. And although we're seeing a strong stock market, we are seeing that prices are fluctuating. We are seeing inflation starting to creep up, and you can expect this with tariffs, but tariffs aren't a long-term strategy. They're a short-term strategy to renegotiate trade deals and to overall get companies to come back into the United States, which is what we're seeing. So the United States has basically bet all on black, and what we're betting all on black in is data farming and overall mineral creation through resource partners like Ukraine, like Africa, to become a leader in technology and chipset design. That is the future. Semiconductors, artificial intelligence, All of these type of technologies, the United States has been a lagging indicator in, and we must get to the front of that. So that's why you're seeing Apple, that's why you're seeing Microsoft, you're seeing Intel, and all these companies put an ungodly amount of money into our country. Donald Trump wants to win that Nobel Peace Prize. And he wants it so he can slam it on a table and say, I've done everything you've done, and I've done it better. And I didn't sleep with a cook and then take him out. 2,000 viewers, 1,900 on Twitter, got some on Facebook, almost more on YouTube. I've got 5,000 followers on YouTube. I've got 39 people on. I've got 317,000 on Facebook, and I've got 50. Don't tell me Facebook's not throttling us. It's amazing. As soon as October hit, it happens every election. Boom, they just shut us down. And everybody's shut down. Everybody's struggling right now. All conservative channels are just getting throttled like crazy because they don't want us to influence the election, because the truth influences the election. But you know what? Facebook may have shut us down, but the word's getting out on Twitter. So the word's going to get out. The word's going to get out either way. So you can't suppress us anymore because we're growing on Twitter. We're growing on YouTube. We're growing on Rumble. We're growing on Instagram. And YouTube has become our second biggest channel now. So you're not going to be able to shut us down. So Zuckerberg better just let us go. It's Katie Porter, another complete loon. And just this lady is worse than Spanberger. I don't know where the liberals find these people.
And she's 12.
But the problem is how come all liberal women are the same? They're all extremely, no, I'm not trying to be rude, but homely looking. They aren't pleasant. They have this Karen PetSmart, I want to talk to your manager vibe. And I'm not trying to make it that way. I'm not trying to make it on looks, and I don't want to be mean. But they're not intelligent. And I think that's more disrespectful than anything about their looks. They just aren't intelligent. They're unable to say multiple ideas without staying on the surface level. You saw that with Spanberger tonight. Once she got her talking point out and Sears hit her on it, she was stuck. Well, here is Spanberger.
So on election night.
And this is going to tell you. She says that her 12-year-old daughter was crying on election night because Trump won and asked her, what if I get raped and need to have an abortion? Let me tell you this, that this is a complete lie. I'll take conversations that did not happen for $700. Katie Porter is completely flat out lying because I'm going to show you a commercial. And I guarantee she saw this commercial and she decided to go ahead and lie. This woman is vile. This woman treats her staff like absolutely horrible. And she's going to win because California can't stand the Nazi fascist party. And it makes no sense. Did Winsome Sears remind you of a fascist or a Nazi tonight? She is a Jamaican, black, female, Christian, conservative, military woman who comes from the blue-collar workforce. And she just lit up an elitist professional with a snooty degree. I'll take her any day of the week. Here is Katie Porter. Oh, this woman just... This woman just horrible. Listen to this.
I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's going to win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion? This is from a 12-year-old, my 12-year-old daughter. And so it was really a reminder of how scary this time is for people and how important it is for Democrats to have strategies, both at the state level and the federal level, to make sure that we can continue to protect people's rights. So on election night, I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said,
anybody that thinks that that's real, if anyone thinks that that's even remotely real, I've got a bridge to sell you in Baltimore. That isn't going to be completed for a while. There is no way that her daughter came and said that. What if kids don't think that way. What if I get raped and pregnant? That is you telling your daughter that, instilling that fear into her, and then her repeating it and you pretending, you complete nutter, that your daughter had that free thought. And I'm letting you know that that's not. Just look at her picture. Just look at her. She just screams crazy. This is what the Republican Party has come down to. The commercial I'm referring to, I've showed it many times here, is Trump running for a third term. And it's these horrible DNC fat cats that make these cringeworthy commercials that are just horrible. And that's the commercial to a T. Kid sleeping, comes in, goes, baby, you told me to wake you when the presidential election, happened. And he's like, yeah, mommy. Who won? She goes, Donald Trump, honey. Donald Trump won. And he's like, what? I didn't think he could win a third time. She goes, not anymore, baby. Not anymore. It's so stupid. Where these people come up with this crap. I mean, seriously. It's so cringe. It's so bad. So Katie Porter also said that pedophilia is gender identity and sexual orientation, not necessarily a crime.
And their gender identity.
This is the Democrat Party. They can lie all they want. They can hide from it. This is what they believe. This is what they believe. Here is what is wrong with my screen? Oh, I remember I adjusted it. Hold on. Give me a classic 16:9 wide. Thank you. Bring that over here. Folks, if you have not had a chance to donate to the show, considering we have 2,079 people on, and the show is absolutely massive, you could help out by donating to the show. Please do. We would appreciate it. Every penny goes to our show. It doesn't go to the DNC or the RNC or Israel. I wish we got $7,000 a post, and we definitely shill for Israel on this show. But we don't get $7,000 for it. We rely on you, the viewer. I know we've hit goal already, but we're driving big tonight, and you got to see me cry over my daughter's choir concert. So, a little bit of guilt goes a long way. If you want to help us out without guilt, make sure it feels good. thedumbshow.com/donate. You can do that. I'll also put up 2 QR codes right here. We're funded by our viewers, and we thank you. Here is Spanberger saying, and this is from Russian media, by the way, which is even worse. Listen to this.
The allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender identity. So this is clearly prohibited under Twitter's content, yet you found hundreds of these posts on the platform. The allegation of groomer and pedophile identity.
You're nuts. She's wacko. She's wacko for tobacco, folks. Just not balanced. I'm going to try to find this other video of that commercial that I told you about. And I did save it, but I think I saved it from a few days ago. I do a lot of doom scrolling because I do it for the show. And this is where I get a lot of my information. Here it is.
Yeah, me too.
This is the same guy. Listen to it. They make these same commercials. God, and they never know how to adjust their audio. These people suck. Okay.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too.
So, come on, turn that shite down. Okay, so they have a series of commercials, and they just change it. Some of it's for immigration, and they pull them over. Some of it's about abortion. Some of it's about safe sex. And they just change the topic, whatever's hot, and they just recut the commercial with the same actors. This is the most cringeworthy shit you've ever seen. Debate's over. Taco Dawn happened at 7 o'clock. All right, here is the video. Well, not unless I have audio.
What are you talking about? Who are you? I'm your Republican Congress.
All right, here you go.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too.
What are you doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry.
Consuela, just shut up. I'm trying to talk. You're messing up my lines, Consuela. Be quiet. My hair. It's so, just stare at my hair and be calm. I am an FBI agent. I caught my first tube today, sir. Where do they find these people?
When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
They just, who's home? Okay. So I'll have to find the other videos of these guys. Progress Action Fund. They're horrible. They're horrible. But these are the commercials they've been doing. And they tried it against Trump. It doesn't work. And they continue to do it. Taco Don says, proud gay Republican. I'm voting for Sears. Good for you. You should. You should. I'm trying to find out who else. Do we have a troll? Hi. You crushed it. I thought I wanted to hear the second part too. You like the one you do on the piano.
Oh.
I thought that was the song you were going to do, but you crushed it. You killed it.
I did too.
I know. I watched them both.
Yeah.
They were beautiful. Did you have fun? Come say hi to everybody. Everyone got to see it. Say hi.
Hi.
I got to, I may have gotten a little emotional.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit.
Can I see the video?
Yeah. You want to see it again?
Yeah, well, I didn't get to see it.
Oh, yeah. Well, go put your headphones on and get over here. You're not zoomed in. Ethy!
I just got
Ethy! Hey, come on over here and zoom her in, will you? We've got 2,000 people on. 2,109. Yeah, it's pretty busy. Okay, yeah, I don't need you to out me. Dad cried, apparently. Love you. Bye-bye. What's up, E? What's up, homie? Hello. How was it? Good. You liar. Were there any cute girls? That's all that matters.
Loves Rocco.
You and Rocco got along? Your bros? Oh, okay.
They're
That's good.
bros.
That's good. Maybe you guys go out and pimp in the hose later. Yeah, I'm trying to put them on right now. Do you want to scoot over here and center yourself? Does everybody just want to get on? I mean, what the hell? Here, just everybody. Mics are hot. Get in. Mics are hot. Get in. Let's get everybody here.
We have the wide view.
No, we don't. Not for her.
We don't have the wide view for everyone?
No, we moved it.
Don't worry, chat. I'm here. That's all that matters.
You got to let your mom in.
No.
Is mom on it? Mom, you're not on.
I know.
No.
Why don't you move your chair over and sit in between
Oh,
Ethan?
yeah.
You guys can share the mic.
Okay.
Scoot on down. Sorry, I didn't have the other camera set up. I can do that. All right. Are we done? Everybody in? Okay. So everyone's hot. Mic's on?
Yep.
Hi.
Give me a check.
I mean, like, I'm always hot,
Mic
so.
check.
Oh,
Okay.
dude.
Mic check.
Seriously, shut up.
Number
E.
one. Hola.
All right. So,
Hayden, hand me my mouse.
hi. Okay.
Hi, puppy.
All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play it. And then hey, calm down, Ash. Holy moly, you guys are wrecking the. You know, it's not like we have like one of our biggest shows ever, and we're just basically doing family night. All right, here it is. Hold on a second.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting if we try, Lord, if we try.
Okay, so fun fact about that solo.
Yeah. Let us know. Very well done. Go ahead.
So
I originally only had one solo in this entire concert. So at the beginning of the school year, I was originally only in one choir. I was in Bella Voce, and that was it. And then Miss Morgan was like, Hayden, can you come to chamber? And you can join chamber.
Don't hit the table.
So now I'm in 2 choirs.
Okay.
And then in Bella Voce, this specific choir, I had one solo, and that was the She Used to Be Mine solo. That was the really, really, really good one.
Yeah, which I really loved.
And then this one, the part that I was singing, another girl had it, and she wouldn't sing loud enough. So Miss Morgan came up to me yesterday and said, Hayden, I need you to sing this part.
All right, let's listen to it because I got a troll I got to address.
Oh, okay.
That's not the one. This is where I got weepy.
Not simple to say. Most days I don't recognize me in these shoes and this apron, that place and its paper.
Your pronunciation and your singing is ridiculous.
Diction, guys.
Don't you ever cuss on my show again.
It's just a musical term.
I know better.
Like I used to be, although it's true, I was never attention's sweet center. I still remember
80.
that girl.
Number 1 on Twitter.
Nice.
All right. It's beautiful. It's the second time we've seen it, and I got to go to work. So I'll be done in just a minute. Anything you want to share on it other than what you did?
It was really fun.
Well, the dummies came through tonight because we had a huge donation, and we're at 500. So
that's so cool.
It was a very good night. And sorry, Dad couldn't be there, but I love you anyway.
It's okay.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, get out of here.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. See ya.
Peace.
Peace. Yes, Ethan. Peace.
Deuces.
Deuces. 6-7.
6-7.
Se
6-7.
You guys are so stupid. Get off my set. Now, get out of here. Why is Winsome Sears unqualified, Tyler? Regal us with your intellectual prowess. I should get a frontman. Get a music person behind me, play theme music for us.
I can do it.
No, leave. Get Ethan. I'm gonna kill you. So Tyler, why is Winsome Earl Sears unqualified? And please tell me, what are the qualifications for governor? Close the shades. What are the qualifications for governor? Please let me know. And we'll just do Virginia. What are the qualifications for governor? We'll just start there. Real simple. Just give me one qualification for governor if you want to do that. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds because you probably already left because you were getting torn up in chat. People are tearing you up. And we're going to be nice to you, but we're going to tear you up because you deserve it. I'm waiting. Is Tyler still here? Nope. What a wimp. Qualifications for governor. Very similar to state legislature, very similar to Senate. There are absolutely 100% no qualifications, especially as Secretary of War or Secretary of Defense. There are no qualifications necessary other than age requirements, citizenship, residency. That's it. And term limits that you haven't served before. So when you say she's unqualified, what you're really trying to say, Tyler, is because she's black, she's female, she's a Marine, she's a small business owner, she is a blue-collar worker, she is an immigrant. Which one is it? There's something about her you don't like, and it's not her qualifications. So what is it? And as a Democrat, I have a feeling I know the answer, and it's probably because she's black. Because there's one thing that Democrats don't have a lot of, They have a lot of white people in Virginia, and they pretend, oh, yeah, we're all about equity and inclusion and diversity, but not when it comes to their white states. They certainly don't. And Virginia inherently is a fairly white state. And you guys just go with the flow. And you have a black lieutenant governor who's been doing the job. So when you say she's not qualified, she's actually the most qualified candidate you have out of all the governor races and gubernatorial races across the country this year. She is the only lieutenant governor running for governor, and she's been in position in 4 years, and her state is one of the best in the union. So what do you mean she's not qualified? I think you're not qualified to judge her qualifications. That's the problem. I think you're threatened by a woman. But that's typical with Democrats, too, because you can't even identify which one is. Anyway, Tyler, nice job. Thanks for playing, but you're done. We were on the Gong Show. You would have gotten the gong. Just a couple more. Then I'm going to go spend time with the family. Got the Colorado Avalanche playing at 9 o'clock. I want to go see my team. So peace in the Middle East. I want to show you someone who I've been showing you quite a bit of. I obviously show you a lot of Damani Felder, and I have to fill my DEI quota. So, I show you Damani, and now I'm going to show you Officer Tatum, who is ex-police officer, a huge conservative voice, happens to be African-American. He also fills into my DEI quota, which we're going to go ahead and do. So let's go ahead and watch this, because this is really, really good. And he's always good on this. Here it is.
You have really taken a stance, a really strong position. You're fighting back against the propaganda machine, the vilifying of the Jews, Israel. There's just so much out there. But what's lacking in all of this is the critical thinking, and you are doing all of that critical thinking. What made you go all in? Because it's not a popular stance.
No, it's not.
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the kind words. It's very simple to me. This stuff is biblical. What made me go all in is when I see foolery on television and I see propaganda spread across social media. And I've done this with, when it comes to policing, and people lie about what police do and don't do. And when I saw what was happening with the lies that are coming out of Gaza, it just made me angry. And I said, somebody has to stand up and have enough fortitude to say, I'm going to present the truth. I don't care who's mad at me. And like I said at the beginning of this statement, is that God says explicitly in the Bible what Christians shall do and how Christians shall view Israel and how we should support Israel. All of that is laid out. And until the Bible changes, then my stance on it will never change.
What do you think is the root of, dividing Christians and Jews? Now you're getting all those comments, the $7,000 memes, you're getting them, I'm getting them. I'm like, really? Really? We're getting paid the $7,000? I wouldn't be working, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that check. That's all I know. So when they give me that $7,000 check, I'll probably smile. But the reality is, these people are just saying these things because they cannot combat the truth. They cannot argue or debate with what is out there as the truth. They have nothing but emotionalism and lies and propaganda to push. And I think it's a few angles here that create this type of mentality in people. And one is a spiritual battle. I think God has given a lot of people over to what we call a reprobate mind. He's given them over to their own lusts and their own devices. And therefore they're falling off of a cliff. And you can see them very clearly. They start in one place, and now all of a sudden they're the most deranged people on social media, period.
I love his ability to articulate his points without having to he's very much like Damani. Like, the thing is like, I can present like that and I can present like Damani, but when I get to a certain point with people, I just literally got to put a purple bruise on their head in the shape of a mushroom. And I just swat them because I don't tolerate people like that in my life. And I don't allow people to speak to me in that way. And so I elevate myself and do it to the same. But it's an interesting thing. And it's an interesting dichotomy when you think about it, because there's a lot of people who, like, for instance, today I was accused of, what was it? Oh, that I tell people not to be sensitive, and then I'm very sensitive. And actually, that's the furthest thing from the truth. I tell people not to be sensitive, and I'm sensitive of what other people may feel. And we were talking last night about Catholics, and the conversation wasn't even about Catholics, actually. There was nothing about Catholics when we talked about. And we were talking about Israel and a few other things, and somebody said that Catholics aren't Christians. And a longtime listener, somebody who I really appreciate and really, really like. I really do. I absolutely like. And I just said no. And we've always been that way. We don't troll Muslims in here. We don't troll Jews. We don't troll Mormons. And I may make jokes, but I'm the host, and I do that occasionally. But it's certainly not singling one person out. And it's certainly, well, it might be singling one person out, but it's not singling out, or it's not, talking about an entire group of people. And that's what we get upset about when people go after the Jews, or they go after us as Christians or Republicans or conservatives. And we've always been that way. We've always been non-secular in our approach. And the reason why we do that is because, not to create a safe space, but there's a few things that are just, you don't touch. And you don't touch religion. You don't touch family. You don't touch abortion. You don't laugh at people's pain, and if you want to hit them for their politics or hit them for that they're just being a knucklehead, that's different. But, you're not going to sit here and say all Catholics are not Christian, because first of all, they're followers of Christ. So you may not like some of the heretic things that you consider that they do, or some of the over the top traditions that you don't align with. But that doesn't give you the right to say that they're not Christians. They're the followers of Christ. Orthodox, Protestants, Catholics, all fall in that realm. And more of the New Age religions and Mormonism and Latter-day Saints and Jehovah's Witnesses also follow Christ. So you don't get to define somebody's religion. So I really like when Tatum does that, and I like when Damani does it, is that they're able to make a non-emotional argument and simply just say, if you're going to cross that line and start going into groups and start judging, well, that's what liberals do. And I don't appreciate it. And I don't like it. The second thing is that people have a voice on this show, and we've always protected people's religion. Even, and I, being accused of, now that I'm finding Christianity and going to church, that somehow I'm changing. I've always protected people's beliefs here. In fact, what I have stated more than anything is, I wish I had your faith. I've said those things to people. I wish I had your faith. I wish I didn't have the experiences that you did. So some people believe that this is a revival of mine, or that I've somehow changed. I'm the same person. And what's hilarious is that you loved it when I did it to other people, but you don't like it, me turning the mirror around on you. And that's just the way it is. And relationships change. People don't get along. But what I love about Officer Tatum, and I love about Damani, is that they stick to their beliefs and they don't change them based upon public opinion. And I don't either. So if it's like, hey, this guy likes Jews, I'm not going to listen to him, then you're an ignoramus. Instead of trying to get me to understand your position of why you struggle to have a decent relationship with somebody from a different theological background or ethnicity, it baffles me. I just don't understand it. I can have conversations with every race, color, creed, sexual disposition, and just because we don't agree doesn't mean that we can't find value in each other. And that's the problem. You refuse to find, because you collectively rate people based upon your prejudices. I didn't say you're racist. I didn't say that you're a theological snob. I said you're prejudiced. And there is nothing wrong with prejudice. Prejudice is a normal thing. It's a completely normal thing. And people have changed prejudice, which comes from the Latin of the 1500s and 1600s, where people would judge based upon religious ignorance. So it's kind of fortuitous to use the word. But prejudicial has now turned into something else. Prejudicial is now racist. It means you hate. But we're prejudicial on a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that we dislike people. It doesn't mean that we put ourselves on a higher pedestal. Bigotry is also another word with the etymology of bigotry. Bigot is now racist, white supremacist, but that's not what bigotry was. It also falls back into the Latin and the Spanish times of Latin and the King's Old English, which is also religious heresy, which is knowing something but denying it as false. And predominantly when it came to the word of God or religion. So bigotry is also a fundamental word that needs to be used to help people understand when they are applying an answer that they are very well aware of what the truth is, but do it anyway. Like, for instance, the Jews killed Kennedy. The Jews did 9/11. The Jews killed Charlie Kirk. You know it's not true. You have no evidence whatsoever. You have a bunch of anecdotal snippings of nothing. And just like all conspiracy theory, your confirmation bias has led you down to a path. But you know that it's not true because you can't prove it. And you know that. But instead, you pretend that everything you've heard is true because it confirms your biases. We need words for that. And that is most assuredly bigotry. Just not with the theological undertones. Vicky Harris, I can't say no either. I will say good luck to you. I'm lost cause, not dumb. I don't like the word no, and neither can I say it. Yeah, I'm not very good at it either, Vicky. No is not my word. By the way, nobody thinks you're dumb, but it's don't unfriend me. It's not D-U-M-B. I think you knew that, and I think I've seen you around. Pretty sure. Did I understand that okay? I think you should. I hope you watch our show, and I hope you stay a part of it. And maybe I misread that. But my point is, I'm getting a long way around the barn here. But when we talk about other people's religions,
and it's very clear,
unless you've lived it, unless you've been there, how can you can speak on it, but how can you not listen on it? See, that's what I don't understand when people are like, oh, so I have to be a doctor in order to have an opinion on doctors? No, you don't. But if you're not a doctor and you don't have the study of being a doctor, perhaps you should listen to a doctor to gain more education on it so you can make an educated decision. Absolutely, Catholicism is the original. It has a Greek word. It's based off Catholic. It's Katholicism, Catholicism, I believe. Catholicism. It's Catholicism, which is a Greek word for Catholic, or Catholicos, which is also the short without the ism, the action of. It doesn't matter. The point is the etymology of Catholicism is the first religion of Christianity, and they are the followers of Christ. So when people say, no, they're not Christians, I'm going to defend them. And I don't care if they're offended, so to speak, because they can defend themselves. But you're not going to make generalities in this show. You're not going to disgrace and disparage Jews. You're not going to disparage Christians. You're not going to disparage people who love science or people who are atheists, because there's no point in it, because you're not coming from their perspective. So of course you're ignorant to what they think and what they know. Tyler, Sear is unhinged. Give me an example. What does that mean? What does that mean, unhinged? So you think she's crazy. Give me some examples of why she's crazy. Give me some of her policies that you find crazy. Give me things that she's done in her personal life that you find crazy. Unfit. I've already told you the requirements. She's of age. She's an American citizen. She qualifies, and she has experiential learning. She's done the job. So I don't know what you mean by unfit. And doesn't know when to shut up. Well, that's like most women. See, I might have lost some viewers there, but I shouldn't, because it's a joke and it's funny. Winsome, an adult is speaking. Yeah, so she said some stupid stuff. Don't you think people who don't actually condemn murder are and killing kids is a bad thing? You don't think late-term abortions are a bad thing and Spanberger should do that? You don't think you have a question of why she was only a 6-year CIA person? And to cut your teeth to get into the CIA, it takes a lot more than that. Why was she only there for 6 years? Don't you think we should know? You don't think she said stupid stuff? You know, let your rage fuel you. People say stupid stuff and out of context all the time. Winsome Sears has been through a maturation process, and the polls show it. She was down by almost 20 points at one time, and now she's showing spreads between 2 points and 6 points. And after tonight, she's going to catch her. See, their problem is, Tyler, is that you have another issue with her, and it's not because she's unfit, because I just demonstrated why she's not. And you can't tell me any policy that demonstrates that she's unhinged. So you can say all those things and you can just scream from the rooftops, but it's not going to work. I will continue to support her until I see anything that you've demonstrated or other triggers that I can say, wow, you know what, I really don't want her. I see those in Spanberger. I think Spanberger's a wreck. And if you think she did well tonight in that debate, that unhinged, unfit woman kicked her ass all over the stage. You can always call into the show. Sure, here you go. Bam. I'll even put off my Colorado Avalanche game for you. 276-200-2105. Folks, last time for donations, thedumbshow.com/donate. If you're going to make a donation, now is the time. Over 2,251 people on. Unbelievable. What a great night. Great night on YouTube. Crappy night on Facebook, but we still love you. And an unreal night. Jim, there's no reason to say you're an idiot, Tyler. And if you're going to say you're an idiot, Tyler, Jimmy, I love you and you know I care about you. Can you spell your correctly, as in you are? Because when you say somebody's an idiot and you can't figure out you are and your, it looks kind of, you know what I mean? I'm trying to help you out here, buddy. You apostrophe R-E. Thanks. I love you. He very well may be, but the whole point is that he doesn't, he's afraid to, you know what? Idiot is not the word I'd use to describe Tyler. A person without a backbone is what I do. You come into a chat, you spam it. You have no impact whatsoever on anyone in here, but you have a chance. You have a chance to call in and tell me why she's unhinged and unfit. And you could change viewers' minds. If you care about her that much, you could do that. But you won't, because you have no moral conviction. You don't believe in what you're saying. You're exactly the person I'm talking about. You don't believe the words you're saying. You don't like her because she's a Republican. That's it. Well, that's not up for you to decide. Because after tonight, Virginia got to see that Spanberger is completely a post. She's a post. And she's as useless as a stump. So you should call in, buddy, but you won't. Let's see if I got one more video in here. Oh yeah, here's a good one. So this was on, I think this might have been on Kimmel. I don't really care where it was. But Jeff Bridges. Bubba says coward. I say lack of courage. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. So Bridges, you guys have seen The Big Lebowski. And the dude with his sweater and long hair and white Russians. So they decided to do the dude. Now, if you have not seen the show, The Old Man with Jeff Bridges, second season's pretty good. First season, oh my God, stop what you're doing now, watch it. It's a great series. And I like Jeff Bridges. I just don't like his politics. But he decides to go ahead and try to recreate the dude. And it is so, oh Lord, cringeworthy. Here it is.
And, yeah, ice. Let's get ice off our streets and into our beverages. This aggression will not stand, huh? Right? Right. So let's just abide, huh? Abide together. Yes, we can do this. Now, that's just like my opinion, but it's a good one, don't you think,
That's a pretty great opinion, I think. Thank you, dude.
What did she do? Go at it. Folks, I gotta go. I don't have much. Dog's in trouble and Dad's got to get involved. She's 2 nights that she's done it and she's acting out. We got to figure out why. She's in trouble. Here's what it comes down to. Jeff Bridges doesn't get to dictate where ICE goes. In fact, state governments don't get to dictate where ICE goes. The government, the federal government, has a priority to protect our borders. They have a priority, and in the Constitution, protect the sovereignty of the United States of America. And they are sworn to protect this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And yes, illegals are enemies of the state. Whether you want to agree with that or not, I don't care. You come in here and you follow the law. If you told me you had a person who came in and stole money from a bank repeatedly, you would expect them to be held accountable. If you had somebody who strong-armed a liquor store, if somebody had identity theft and took a social security card, you would expect them to be held accountable. If somebody had thousands of tickets for parking violations, you would put out a warrant for them. If they're drunk driving, the same thing. Illegals come in here and immediately have a strike, and they break the sovereignty of our country. And whether that's a misdemeanor or a felony, depending upon if they've been caught or not before, doesn't matter. You aren't even supposed to be here. So you need to go. And ICE does that job. And you may not like it. You may not think it's great. But it doesn't matter. So Jeff Bridges can go up there and go with Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy can pretend he's going to drink a White Russian. And, you know, oh, well, the dude, whose mind did that change? Do you think Donald Trump was watching that, or the ICE director and Tom Homan were like, oh, you know what, Christy? The dude, Jeff Bridges, came on Jimmy Kimmel. And she's like, what? The one thing, the bastion to our existence, the dragon's bane that pierces our leathery magical armor, which strikes at the dragon's heart. A killer blow of the winged beast. Not Jeff Bridges, please. For the love of Cthulhu. Nobody cares. It doesn't change anything. So all it is just empty crap. Jimmy Kimmel has a chance. He has a platform, and he could actually do something productive, but he doesn't. He just puts up actors, and they go ahead and they trounce Trump, and everyone applauds. At least we try to go ahead and bring you something of intellectual capacity better than zero. I got to go kill my dog. Yeah, I think it's a little separation anxiety, but also she needs to get out for a walk. I think she's got a lot of pent-up energy, and it's okay. We can buy new rugs. I'm not going to get upset at my puppy. I love my puppy. I'm not Hassan. I'm not going to go laser shock my puppy because she doesn't do what I want. Lisa says, thanks a lot for covering Virginia debate. Me and my husband enjoyed your show. Thanks. Lisa, there might come a time where you don't. I might say something that bothers you, and this is to everybody listening. We've got a lot of people on right now. I might say something that bothers you. We interact with our audience. We read our comments. We make it a part of our show. And sometimes people get offended. I just found out that 2 listeners who I absolutely loved and adored got mad at me because I said that I think women look better with longer hair than short hair. What if I would have said, I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can deny. What if I said I like big boobs? Is that okay? What if I'm an ass man? What if I'm a feet man? What if I'm a hands man? What if I'm a man's man? Oof. It doesn't mean I'm talking about you. I just think women look better with longer hair. I'm not saying there's not great short-haired women. I'm not saying that at all. I thought Natalie Portman looked awesome in V for Vendetta, and she was bald. I think Halle Berry looked smoking with her short hair. I think, what is her name? Mikhail Baccarat, whatever, from Deadpool. Baccarana, whatever. I don't care. Whatever her name is. She's smoking with short hair. But I just think women look better with long hair. I can't say that. And people got offended and they stopped watching the show. They said, fuck it. I'm not going to watch it anymore. Why? Why? I promise you that there will be something that I say that will offend you. And then what? Then what? The whole show's called Don't Unfriend Me. And it's called Don't Unfriend Me not because I can't defriend you or you can't defriend me. That's different. Toxic relationships. You got to cut people out of your life who are like that. Don't Unfriend Me comes down to, like, don't unfriend me because of my opinion. And somebody came on my page today and they said some very nasty things about me that were all unequivocally false. And I don't care because I know who I am. I left it up. I didn't ban them. Why? Because they're not a threat to me. I don't care what they say because they won't come and face me directly because they know what will happen because I bring receipts. See, Candace Owens talks about receipts. Laura Loomer talks about receipts. But see, receipts are not some piece of paper that shows that you're right and they're wrong. Receipts are be able to know yourself and know who you are, and you can dispel any rumor about you because you have been transparent and honest about who you are, and you're not afraid of anybody. So if I say something that bothers you or I say something that pisses you off, because there's times I can cuss too much, there's times that I can get in a grumpy and foul mood and I can take off on listeners, and I've done it, and I'm the first one to admit it. There are listeners which I wish I could take things back and say, you know what, I teed off on you, I'm sorry. And usually I say it in the moment. I said it last night to 2 listeners. Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And I wrote another listener and said, listen, I didn't like what you said, I didn't like what you did, and I'm not apologizing for what I said, except for I probably could have done it in a better way, and I probably didn't have to do it in public. But I'm not sorry, because what I said was true. And then I saw a video today. It was really, really interesting. And it was talking about Charlie Kirk, and this guy was comparing, I wish I would have saved it. He was comparing Charlie Kirk to Jesus. And he says, Paul Rivera donated $5. The small cherry on top. What a great show tonight. Politics, family, news. Well done, brother. No, thank you, brother. And he said Charlie Kirk was like Jesus. And I'm like, okay. Good luck getting there. Was he a carpenter? And I was waiting to hear this, and he goes, and not because he was a deity or not because he was divine, but because Charlie Kirk wasn't always nice. But Charlie Kirk always told you the truth and how he felt. And you always knew where you stood with him. He never was deceptive. You never had to guess. If Charlie was mad at you, you would know. And Charlie would tell you what you didn't need to hear. And Jesus wasn't always nice. Jesus would be downright honest to a fault at times. Jesus would be critical of people and demand things from them that were past their potential. But he was always a good soul and a good person, even though he wasn't nice. And that defines Charlie Kirk to a T. Always honest, always direct. You always knew where you stood. And he may not be nice, but he was always good. I would like to think that if I'm ever described by anybody, that I'm always direct, I'm always honest, you always know where you stand with me. I may not always be nice, but I'm always good. And as long as that's my epitaph, I'll be very happy. But here's the truth. People will keep you up until they want to break you down. And that is the natural thing. And it's applied to everything, not just physics, but existentialism, metaphysical things, physical, spiritual, anatomical. What goes up must come down. The theory of relativity and the theory of physics and the theory of Newton's law is relative to everything in life. As cymatics and sound are responsible for life, the theory of what goes up must come down applies in everything, in relationships, in your life, in your finances, in your spiritual devotion, in your depression, when it rains. What goes up must always come down. And if you understand that and you have faith in it, you can have a different disposition on life than most. So when it comes to success, there's going to be ebbs and flows. I'll tell you a story. I'm going to tell it quick. Here's the story. Last night, I wasn't in a great mood. I was grumpy mood. By the way, almost 2,400 people on the show. Twitter just hit 2258. Last night, grumpy night. Wasn't happy. I didn't feel right with God. I didn't feel like I reflected in church. Church was not a good, it was Job. It was bad. The sermon was great. It was just dark. And I just didn't get my head on straight in church. And I even told my pastor that. And I can't wait to go see him on Sunday because I really want to kind of get my soul reattached a little bit because I need some direction. And so I was short last night. And I was short last night because financially there was some stress. And we had to help out several viewers this month. And that's okay. I don't mind. I love doing that. It makes you feel good, right? But it puts a financial burden a little bit on you. And you go, okay, how am I going to get out of that? And it creates stress. And then, boom, something happens. And you see something and you go, I didn't like the way that felt. And that bothered me. And then I went and I read something else. And then a viewer said something and it compounded. And I am a man of emotion. And I am not a god. And I'm not this prosthetic person who is a talking head who doesn't feel things. I take things extremely personal. I don't punish people for their opinion. I punish people when they want to challenge my ability with ignorance. That bothers me. I don't like people who treat me like I'm stupid. I don't like people who come in here and spam or say dumb stuff or try to insult my team or insult viewers, because it's just lowbrow, lowest common denominator type stuff. So I don't punish people for that, but I will give them a taste of their medicine. I have no problem doing that. And last night, I felt that there were some things that were said that frustrated me, and I took it out on people. And that's my own fault, and I'm totally aware of it. So I got off, and it was about midnight, and I started thinking about Mel, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I wonder if she heard about McDavid. McDavid got a bridge contract for $25 million for 2 years, which is really weird. You don't do that with your superstar. And something happened. I think McDavid probably came up and said, I want out of Edmonton. And they're like, listen, give us 2 years. And if you don't have it in 2 years, we'll give you any contract you want with another team. That's what happened. So they gave him a bridge contract. And if they win the Stanley Cup this year or next year, then McDavid stays, and then they can deal him out. I just want to get her opinion on it because I love Mel. But I also wanted to talk to her a little bit about what happened on the show. And I didn't hear from her. So then I was like, okay, well, I hope she's okay. Then this morning, I did send her something and said, hey, I'm sorry it was so late. Didn't hear back. And once again, I'm like, okay, I need Mel. I want to talk to her. I need to get some things off my chest. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly says empaths absorb all energy. It can be exhausting. Dude, I think it's a dude. Yes. Like, never been said better than that, because I say it as garbage in, garbage out. And if you feed me shit, I'm going to give it right back to you. And if you give me good vibes, I'm going to give that right back to you. So I am definitely an empath. I process things out loud, and I give people whatever energy they give me. And if it's applied or assumed, sometimes I do that too mistakenly. So anyway, things aren't good. And then Olivia makes a mistake on the book, and some financial things that I thought were going to happen didn't happen. And there's a level of frustration there, right? And then you had the whole Wimkin thing, and there's some frustration there. So all these little frustrations. So I call Olivia today, and I was down and out. And I was broken. I was just having a bad day. And so I call Olivia, and I just said, I need to talk to Mel. And I just need to know that Mel's okay, because it's driving me up. I can't focus. I can't take a nap. I can't go lift. I can't do anything. I just need to talk to Mel. I need to know she's fine. And sometimes that happens, and I get attached, and I need to talk to somebody. So Olivia goes, I'll call her and talk to her. And she did. She calls and goes, Mel's fine. Everything's good. She's happy. She'll call you later, talk to you later. And then Mel said, hey, you need to take off tonight, go with your daughter. And I said, no. And so I didn't obviously need to talk to her at all. I needed to collect that and have her there in order for me to move on and go about my day. And that's what happens sometimes. So here's the moral of the story. When all that stress is happening and all that stuff is going on, Olivia, she goes and prays last night. First time she's prayed since she's been back to church. And it was a very emotional, it took an hour, and she was very emotional, and she got a lot of things out, and she had a conversation with God. And then I said some things about myself, about my patience with listeners and my patience with myself and my disposition, that sometimes this gets stressful because I'm controlling the cameras and the lights and the money, and it's a lot. And I'm pretty good at it now, but it still gets overwhelming. And then I got to answer everybody, and I got to be perfect. I can't let my attitude that I had with a troll slip into somebody I care about. But they don't realize that there's a 15-second delay, and there are times where I'm not mad at you, and I'm talking that way because I haven't reset my emotions because I'm focusing on 70 other things. So as soon as that happens, I go and take a nap. I take a nap every day, and I go an hour and a half, and I crash out because I'm up at the butt crack of dawn, and I don't go to bed until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And Olivia calls, and she goes, oh my God, we had to pay that money to taxes. Our accountant just called and found out that there is a surplus of so many dollars, and we're not only going to get that money back that we paid in, but it's going to go ahead and give us a state and federal income tax for the first time in 5 years. And I just stopped and once again said, it all works out. And there are people who are going through hardships. There's people who are going through tough times. I respect it. I understand it. And I feel for you. And I try to do as much as I can. But I can't be perfect for you. Because that's the one thing. The only way I can be perfect for people and only have it on the merit of my opinions, which are pretty much aligned with most people who watch the show, is that if I'm going to take the risk of interacting with you, if I'm going to take the risk of talking to you about some very emotional things and emotional subjects, there has to be a contract between us that you give me a modicum of leeway. Otherwise, we won't stay. There are going to be times where I might say or do something that you're not going to love, and all I ask is that you give me the leeway to at least explain or make amends. That's what I look for. That's it. So, Lisa, when I say there might be something that you don't like one time, there's your entire answer. Remember that conversation. Mike Lynch says, if I may not be overly deep, I had a conversation similar to this with my pops a few weeks back regarding myself. I really appreciate hearing that someone else has experienced the same strange, unexplainable situations in life. Not sure if that makes sense. That's kind of what unexplainable means, I suppose. All in, my dad simply sitting down and smoking a cigar and hearing me speak was apparently all I needed. It's amazing. My pastor said this. He said, you just being there is more times than not more important than what you say. Sometimes being there is more important than what you say. Yeah. Listen, not perfect. You guys may look at Ben Shapiro and you may look at Mike Knowles and Matt Walsh and oh, these guys have it all together, and Megyn Kelly. They're just as much a hot messes as you and me. I've done the high level jobs. I've done where you walk into a room and people shush because you're that guy. And we don't have anything special. We still get in fights with our spouses. We still step in dog poo in our great shoes, or we still leave the burner on, or we overdraft our bank accounts, or we have to go into church and ask for forgiveness on many different things. We all have inequity. Stop making me more important than I am. And we will have a wonderful time. Or you will put me on a pedestal and I will disappoint you. And you shouldn't, because I'm not worthy of that. There's only one who's worthy of that, and it's not me. That's it. Good show. Had fun. Had fun. It was a good show. I love that Winsome Sears did well. We'll cut some clips for tomorrow. It's 9:30. I'm going to go watch my hockey game. Do me a favor. If you have not followed the show on Facebook, on Rumble, on Twitch, on YouTube, everywhere, please do. Tyler, I hope you find your answer, because I don't think it's Spanberger. I think you know that. And it may not be Sears. Maybe you need to be governor. Maybe you need to run for it. I told you the qualifications. Do you qualify? I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. All I know is that Winsome Sears is not a bad person. She's not a bad person. I know that for a fact. And I can't tell you the same thing about Spanberger. You're your own worst critic. No, I'm the most honest with myself. There's a difference. Carrie, there's a big difference. The moment that I allow egotism and overconfidence to run this show is the day that I need to quit. But I don't like to be accused that I do this for clicks. What a stupid comment. Because if I did it for clicks, I would be hitting on Jews. If I did this for clicks, I would be opposing and get Muslims to come in here and completely oppose the Jews. If I was doing this for clicks, I would have went ahead and embraced January 6th. I would have embraced stolen election. If I was doing this, I would have railed against COVID with the rest of them. If I was doing this for clicks, I wouldn't go after Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. I wouldn't go after Marjorie Taylor Greene. I wouldn't be honest about Donald Trump as honest as I was about him at times. What a stupid comment. I haven't changed. Your expectations of me have changed. There's a difference. I've been the same guy for a long time. I just think I'm getting to a better version of myself where I'm able to be a little more even-keeled. And if that bothers you, then it's your expectations that have changed. But I'm the same guy. I am a very honest, direct, condescending person at times. But I also love you. That's it. We're out of here. Lisa, have a good one. Everyone have a good one. Thanks for watching the show. Tomorrow night, put no human on a pedestal. Wouldn't that be nice? See you tomorrow night. Red Friday. Olivia, me, right here. Then next week, I think we've got Dan Nunn from the Dan Nunn Show coming on. And then we have my pastor coming at the end of the month. He'll be sitting down here. You have to make that show because it's going to be awesome. This dude is amazing. And we'll continue to see if we can get somebody else. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your donations. Thanks for taking care of us. We love you guys. Make sure there's no other donations. No other donations. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
Love you, Loretta.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia Geopolitics.
Loretta, we'll get a prayer in for James and Glenda. Watched her 80-year-old husband clean the chimney of his stove. He has stomach cancer, 3rd stage. Prayers for them both. James and Glenda. I will absolutely do that. Thank you, and we love you. Appreciate you, Loretta. James and Glenda. I got to remember. Okay, bye.